was a comment that was made on Facebook the other day about being a submissive woman. They were saying that a submissive woman controls her man, and I agree with that. I think until we begin to talk in honesty and transparency and stop pandering to both sides, especially to the sisters, because there is so much entitlement, and because men have been quiet for so long, and it's been the men that has been quiet were the type of men that y'all really need to be listening to. The men that doing the most talking ain't the ones, they don't have nothing to say anyway.
What's good? It's your boy Quay Price, man, holding it down for Kandid Konvos. Definitely check us out every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. People today, they lazy. Ain't nobody trying to put in no work. If stuff start getting a little rough in the relationship or in the marriage, ain't nobody trying to fix nothing. Like, I mean, that's how people's mindsets are today. Yeah, but that's how I know that folks don't truly understand what marriage was about, because they tap out way too easy. Yeah, you see people fight harder for a job, like they can't go get another one of them in 2 weeks. Yeah, she's talking about these guys coming to these foreign countries and sourcing out these foreign women because they possess these character traits. Yep, they're more cooperative when it comes to a man, or they're more cooperative when it comes to a marriage and a relationship. They're more, nurturing forward when it comes to a relationship. They're more I don't even want to use the word soft, but I'll use the word soft. They're softer when it comes to, these relationships and interactions with men and so forth. And like I said, we definitely got to be honest. We see a difference, right? We see a difference. And I think, Chloe and Tay made some good points earlier. A lot of this stuff is based around money over here in the West. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Kandid Konvos. I'm your host, Quay Price. We got Coco on deck. We got Cole on deck. We got Vince on deck. Say what's up to the people, y'all.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another show.
Y'all all quiet with it. Cole, you ain't gonna say nothing, Cole. That's what it is.
I was muted, sorry. Hello.
Oh, it's all good. Hey, y'all sitting over here quiet, man. Shout out to everybody joining us tonight. Appreciate y'all holding us down every Wednesday night. Let's see, if you haven't already, smash that like button for us. Smash that like button. Likes are free. Smash that like button for us. Also hit that share. Let's say we want to get this great conversation out to as many of our people as possible so that we can move us in a better direction. So definitely smash that like button. Smash that share. If you haven't as well, hit that subscribe. Yep, hit that subscribe. Let's say we see a lot of folks come view our content, but then they don't subscribe. So hit that subscribe button for us. I said hit that subscribe button for us. All right. let me do this real quick as we get into this conversation. All right, so here's the link to join us on the panel. You can drop this in your Google Chrome, your Microsoft Edge. If you're coming through Apple device, got to use Safari. But yeah, join us on the panel, man. Get in on this great conversation. I said this is not an echo chamber show, so bring your opinions. You don't have to agree. You don't have to disagree. You can agree to disagree, whatever you want to do. We're here to have a conversation. So definitely join us on the panel. Don't be scared. And we're going to go on and get into it. JR in the building. What's going on, JR?
So everybody good, yeah?
Doing good. How you doing, man?
Yeah, not too bad. You know, just ready for the show, man.
Okay, well, we about to get into it, man. We just getting started.
No
Hold
worries,
tight
no
for a
worries.
minute, man. But yeah, like I said, in the video, in addition to the video feed here, we also had this link in the chat feed. So you can catch it at the Kandid Konvos page on YouTube or Facebook, or shoot us a message. We'll get it to you that way as well. We'll lead us up here a little bit as we get into the conversation. Once again, if you haven't, hit that like button for us. Hit that like button for us. We would much appreciate that. All right. So we're going to go and get on to it, man, because I said y'all was sending, got mad videos came over today. We're going to go and get on into it, man. So topic for tonight, Black people don't care about legacy. It's going to be a hot night, I see. Running that title back. Topic for tonight, Black people don't care about legacy. Okay, I'm going to drop this link down for a minute. Let us know if you need the link. We'll get it to you however we got to get it to you. All right. So, yeah, we got a couple. Let me check in. See, I'm about to get ahead of myself. See who's checking in. We got Donovan in the building. He said, good evening, everyone. What's going on, Donovan? Appreciate you hopping on with us tonight, brother. Kenyatta in the building. She said, happy Wednesday. What's going on, Kenyatta? Appreciate you hopping on with us tonight as well, holding us down as always. Appreciate you, sis. All right. So we got everybody on screen. So hold on. So let me juggle around real quick. All right, cool. Okay. Well, yeah, like I said, we're going to go and get right on into it. Like I said, we got a plethora, but we're going to kick it off with the first one.
This year, let me talk about the Indian community. You know, it's funny. As a parent, I'm always studying other communities and other parents on how they raise their kids. Always. By the way, I don't care if you're white, black, Mormon, Muslim, Christian, Indian, Mexican, Salvadorian. I don't care. I just want to know what you do to get your kids to do better. I want to learn from you. Same way you are. I don't just say, it's only got to be white. It's only got to be Middle Eastern. It's only got to be Christian. If you work that way, good luck getting good ideas from people. I could care less who is giving me the good ideas. By the way, let me give you some data that's going to get you thinking. I wrote about the Indian culture almost 2 years ago. There's an article out there you can look at, highest income ethnicity, why Indian Americans become rich and raise successful kids. I looked at the data. They make, on average, the successful immigrants, $120,000 on average. Some of them even shows $150,000. How's this even possible? By the way, when you look at the numbers on marriages, watch this. Do you know, according to National Center for Family and Marriage Research, do you know what communities get the most divorces? Black Americans have the highest divorce rate, 31%. Hispanics, 18.5%. Whites, 15.1%. Other, 12.4%. You know what it is for the Indian family? Some studies show 1.3% divorce rate. The highest you'll find is 6%. Why is that? Because they stay together and their project, their startup, becomes their kid. Both the husband and wife commit to making this kid a leader, a net positive in society. Do you think that's a good thing? Do you think it's a good thing that that kid is being raised in an environment where mom and dad are both there to offer whatever they can? Marriage is not easy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you marriage is easy, but that's an edge that they got. And then they're telling their kids, engineer STEM, that's what they're encouraging them to do. This article continues to say why Indian parents do so well. They promote kinship, self-sacrifice. They are trustworthy and friendly with their kids, quality time. They nurture their kids' talents. They are inquisitive, culture, religious tolerance. Indian parents are very judgmental. Like they'll say, that friend you're with, he's a loser. They'll say stuff like that instead of, oh, it's okay, Bobby. They multitask. This is what they talk about the community. I want to learn from anybody and everybody that's winning at the highest level. So when you think about this, I was raised in a family where my dad worked 5 to 9, not 9 to 5, 5 to 9.
Okay. Well, yeah, so we're talking tonight, Black people don't care about legacy. Okay, shout out to, I think that's Valuetainment. It's the name of that channel. Definitely check them out on YouTube. Let's say they drop some great content. But yeah, that video came over from Cole. So Cole sent that video over. So Cole, I'm coming straight to you right out the gate. So what you see? You agree? You don't agree? What you think we need to hear from that video?
I agree with the video, and from it, I mean, it talked about basically structure and foundation that we don't have.
Right.
From what I do think, the creator, when he was talking about the marriage rates and different demographics, I do think it's accurate. As well, I I guess my I would wonder why we don't have the same mindset um in some instances.
Okay. Coco, you want to say something to that? Go ahead.
I wanted to ask a question. When you say the same mindset, do you mean the same mindset about like marriage, or the same mindset about how like influencing our kids to go in a certain direction? Or do you mean both?
Both.
Okay. Well, probably one of the guys might address this, but I'll go ahead on it and be the first one, since I did ask you that question. I think that let's first break down his stat, right? The stat that he brought up about the 31% of marriages for Black Americans, right? I'm sure Boxer knows this, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but am I correct in saying that 80% of those divorces in that 31% are initiated by women? Is that
Yes.
accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's something to consider, right? If we're talking about, and he's talking about the mindset, right? That basically they make their children their priority. They make their children their priority. Once they begin to have children, not saying that they go, my life is over, I don't have, nothing else for me. Not necessarily that, but that their children become a focus point for them. And they understand that they're going to live on through their children. So they better invest in their children. Right? Like that's literally legacy. I think sometimes in the Black community, when we think of legacy, we go straight to the money, right? Which, don't get me wrong, it definitely takes money, obviously, leaving something. But our children are our legacy. They're going to carry our names forward. They're going to, be our representatives when we're no longer here to speak for ourselves, and how we raise them, how we pour into them, the human beings that they become. Not that we can control all of that, but we can certainly help influence that. And I just don't think we care enough about that. I think we care about what people think about our children. And I'm talking in generalizations. I'll say that, right? Because I'm not speaking for every person, every Black American. But I think we care about how people perceive our children. So we'll go out, we'll buy them all the designer. We'll go out and we make sure that they go to, they are here, they're there, they're being seen, they're out. Maybe we'll put them in extracurricular activities just to say they're in it. We'll do those things because they show well. But at the end of the day, are we influencing our children to make wise choices? Are we encouraging our children to pick good company and friends? Like, are we guiding them when it's the time to decide what they're going to do for their careers? Like, what are we exemplifying good, high moral standard for them so that they'll adapt that from us, because they really watch what we do more than listen to what we say. Like, are we doing those things? And I don't think we prioritize that as much as we prioritize what everything looks to other people from the outside looking in. And I would say that it's about the money a lot for us. And I think sometimes we're so focused on acquiring more and more that we're not pouring into and prioritizing what's really important. Why decide to become a parent if you're not going to take that portion, your children, which is a very huge part of your legacy, if you're not going to take it serious and prioritize that portion of your legacy, right? Like, I just don't understand that. I feel as Black people, we fall short, because at the end of the day, a lot of us still want to be the most important factor in our lives. Period. We want to be the most important. We want to continue to be the most important factor in our lives. That's why 80% of women are filing for divorce, because the most important factor in their lives is themselves. It's themselves. It's not their legacy. They do not care. They do not care. They do not care about breaking up their home and what that's going to mean for that child. They don't care, because it's about my happiness. Now, I'm not telling any woman to just stay in a marriage where she's being beaten and abused, and I would never tell you that. If that's the situation, you have to go. However, that's not the situation for our 80% of y'all. Come on now, let's be so for real. It's not. It's happiness. It's happiness. So see, the difference is, and I'll go there. I'll go there with you, because I don't care. You wanted the answer to the question. We gonna get to the bottom of it. A lot of those people are not putting their happiness first, because they understand that having children is a sacrifice. They understand that being in a happy marriage takes sacrifice. They understand those two things. So they know they're not going to always be able to prioritize their happiness. And they're okay with that, because they're looking at the long game. And they're like, listen, we'll get to the point where we'll be empty nesters, and we'll be thinking back on the days when we had to worry about the kids and this and that. But let's get these kids a strong start to life. Let's get them on the right path. Let's get them. That becomes a priority, because they had children, and you understand that that's a part of the process. And I just think Black people fall short there. We do not prioritize it the same way. We too busy still trying to get the big car, get the nice house, it's like, I'm gonna say this, and y'all can, like it or not. Your season has passed. What do I mean by that? I mean that you can still have nice things. I'm not saying you can't have something. Shoot, if you can afford it, go right ahead. I'm not telling you not to spend your money now. But what I'm saying is, you're building for the next generation now. You made the mistakes in your 20s. You made the decisions. You made your choices. You made all these things you've done, right? Now it's time for you to start building and pouring into the next generation whom you created. You had your chance. Now it's time for you to set them up. Teach them, where you made mistakes, help them correct those along the way. Where you could have made better choices, help them make better choices so they don't have to repeat the same mistakes. That's where your focus should be. But I feel like we fall short there. We just don't. We don't prioritize it, right? We still prioritizing our happiness. We 45 and, we want to be 25 again. And that's what it is. So no, we're not. We are not. And I don't think that women understand how much control you have over how that part goes. And since you guys are raising children on your own now, and you are, and I understand it. It's just the situation that we're in. Since you are raising children on your own now, that means that responsibility falls on you. And if you're still running around trying to prioritize your happiness, then it's going to continue to look like this. And it's never going to change. So at some point, we have to decide to pull our head out of our and do what we know we need to be doing. You can't complain about being behind. You can't complain about being at the bottom. We can't blame white supremacy anymore. We can't blame slavery anymore. All of these things happened. We know they did. And did they have a lasting effect? Yes, they did. But this right here is our fault. No one else's.
Okay, appreciate that right there. Let me slide back to Cole. Cole, was you get out what you wanted to say, or you was good? You were good. You on mute? Come off mute.
Yeah, I was trying to find. It was another video that I was gonna send you, but for some reason I didn't send it. And I can't find it. But it was another video discussing. It was a couple, and the guy was I think like explaining about his marriage, and he was explaining that he married someone's daughter, meaning that she didn't know who she was yet, and that he had to really deal with her in the beginning of their marriage, the fact that she didn't know who she was yet, and
Right.
that she cared so much about what other people think that at a certain point that he was not dating her or married to her, but just kind of married to the idea of what she thought everybody else thought.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I can understand that. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, I've seen some folks describe that almost as some of the young ladies, almost need some fathering as they get into some of these relationships. So I've seen some of that. I've seen some of that circulating around lately. Let me check in. We got a couple folks checking in. Shout out to my guy Rodney. He said, "What up, though, Lance in Michigan, checking in. What's going on, Rodney? Appreciate you hopping on with us tonight, brother." Let's see, the real one in the building. He said, "Hello there. Hope all is well. How you doing? Appreciate you, the real one, hopping on with us tonight." All right. Let me go back to the panel. Beatboxer, Vince. Anybody come off mute? Say what you want. Go ahead, Vince. So you got it first. Beatboxer, you up next. Go ahead, Vince.
Well, I've been screaming this at the top of my lungs ever since we've been on this panel
Right.
about family and how our culture is trash. I'm very big on the meaning of words, so I wrote down the meaning of the word legacy. To have a lasting impact or influence on others, especially future generations, through your actions, values, contributions, effectively shaping how you are remembered after your death. And I'm what, generation X? What am I? I'm 52, so what's that?
Something, man. I don't keep
Okay,
track.
You're
so
Gen X. You're Gen X.
I'll say the generation before me valued legacy. As you guys know, I was raised in the church, and I don't like to go, but often go to older people's funerals, like people, deacons from the church, people I grew up with in the community. And the first thing they ask me is, or they say is, I loved your grandparents. Your grandmother did this. Your grandfather did this. Do y'all still had a group home over on the boulevard? I remember it was the legacy and the reputation that they've left for me to honor. Like, whenever I go to anything like that, I wear my best. Because my grandmother and grandfather showed up in their bed. I put on my best suit. I put on my best cologne. Because when they see me, like, yeah, you a Williams. And that means something to me. And I think that we've lost that. And this is why our generation is trash. All I live around is Indian, Caucasian, and older black people, like who already retired. They don't have no kids. A lot of my younger neighbors are others, and they're family first. The grandmama come for 3 months from India, then she go back. The grandfather come from India and watch the kids. You know, the daddy a tech and the mama a tech. It's we don't. Our culture is just trash, man. And I don't, because we have bought into this. You don't have to show or have real value. It's only about what you feel about yourself. So we don't tell our kids, if you like our grandparents, you went to school to be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher. It wasn't going to school so you can have an experience to pay $100,000 for a basket weaving degree. They tell their kids, science, math, tech. It ain't no psychology degree. It ain't no sociology degree. It ain't no bullshit degree. They go for value. But we teach our kids, well, if you write, your cursive good enough, they'll find value in it. No, they won't. And I don't know if it frustrates me to my core because we see what work, but then we'll find reasons why it don't work. Like I understand before I lived in Dearborn, I thought that well they treat their women messed up. They got to walk 10 steps behind them. They all covered up. But when I lived around them, a lot of the wives live good and their husbands love them. It's a different culture that we don't understand. We don't understand respect. So when they walking behind their or they subservient, them women, and when they take them clothes off, they in proud of it. And I'm not saying this. You know what I'm saying? They the ones at Saks. They the ones
Yeah, no, we know.
at the Ritz Carlton with their whole family for 10 days.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
we don't understand how it really working out here. And then I also sent you something, Quay. And it was this whole fallacy of this power couple, this you can have everything you want at the same time. And I think that's what's messing up our culture. Because I sent you something saying that the woman, she said she passed up on her husband because she didn't want to be a housewife. But I thought y'all wanted 6 figures. She felt like, oh, well, I'm going to miss something by just being a wife and raising kids. So I got to find myself and wait till I'm 35 and got a bunch of debt and maybe a kid that I may have by mistake. Come on. And now I'm ready to be a housewife and a mother. Well, now it's going to be hard for you to do that.
Right. Yeah, no, that's facts. I got one of yours queued up too, man. You down here, so I got one of yours coming too. Let me come over to Beatboxer. Beatboxer, you was up next, man. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on, man?
So yeah, I there's some things I well, let me say the things I don't agree on. When like people from like India or like Southeastern Asian countries come over, they're usually taking the cream of the crop. So they're taking the best of those people. If they were to take the normal everyday Indian individual, I don't think the cultural significance of what David Bett was saying would be as prominent, for one. Also, I will say, ironically, if we're talking about stats too, at least 40 to 50% of their women date outside. So whenever they come over the West, a lot of their women get the hell out, get away from their men. That's a conversation that a lot of Southeastern Asian people have been talking about. They keep it to themselves, but it's about 50%. So if their men are so great and so awesome, why are they running? And it's usually to white men, and then second is black dudes. So I'm just saying, where I live in the DMV, there's a place called Ellicott City. Just FYI.
Oh, come
and it's
on.
like it's a little Korean town, and at least half of those chicks are not with Korean dudes. They're with other people. So I'm just saying, just throwing it out there.
Hold on, Beatboxer.
I'm
So
just
saying. You telling me
yes,
that the Eastern Indian women are coming over to the United States and then separating from their Eastern Indian men to get with others, including black men?
So I wouldn't say. I would say it's usually mostly white guys.
Say white.
I would say mostly white guys. But where I live, it's where I live, where it's like a lot of different people. You would see the occasional black guy getting in there. You'll see that. And it's not just America, it's to the West in general. So, and that's a conversation. Like if you guys were to, and I'm saying marry too, by the way, right? I saw Rennie Page. I'm saying marry. It's not just getting with them. That's another conversation. Because yes, they also do the same things that other women do, but they will marry. They will marry at the end of the day. So those are the two things I disagree with. On the things I do agree on, though, like Mr. Vince said, like marriage is just the key. I don't, not just marriage, but staying married. I don't get I don't want to feel like I'm trashing women because Coco already said this, but getting married and then getting divorced in like 5 or 6 years is crazy to me. I just don't understand that. You get married. A lot of marriages are already $40,000 to $50,000. People have the nerve to have children in that time frame. Try to buy a house, then you get divorced. So you get all this debt. You have children, and all this chaos ensues. So because you're not happy or you picked the wrong person, I think that's crazy. And our marriage, we're the least married anyway. So it's like we're the least married, and we have the highest divorce rates. If you want to build wealth, I've said this ever since I was a real young guy. You want to build wealth, marriage is the key. So, and you need to die to yourself, like the Bible says, you need to die to yourself. So, whatever your wants or needs or desires are, you need to like put that to the side because you're with somebody else. Especially when you have children. I mean, that's a bigger deal, right? Like me and my wife talk about it all the time. They're the priority, and it's not just about us. Right? Like obviously we got to have time to ourselves too, right? But we made that sacrifice to have children. They didn't ask to be here, so we definitely have to be involved. And I feel as though sometimes we as Black folks don't really prioritize our children. I think we view them as extensions of ourselves and not as people. So.
So why do you? Okay, so let me ask you this, B-Bots. You bring up a good point. You're saying that you don't think a lot of Black folks prioritize their children. So then why do we keep having them? Somebody answer that. Go ahead, Vince. I see you trying to come off. Go ahead, man.
We keep having them because we still having sex.
Now I get the sex
and that,
piece.
No, that's the reason. Because people are not having sex to have children. That's just a byproduct of having sex. That's why it usually doesn't work. Back in the day, you got married, then you planned on having children. There was some sort of mindset that said, okay, we're having sex to increase our family to have children. I told you, I was dating for 20 some odd years, and the first person I had sex with when I wanted to have children, I was 45. That's sad, isn't it?
Yeah, now you told us about
Had
that.
been
Yeah.
married and already had 2 kids. So because we're still having sex, that's why these kids are being made. That's why multiple baby daddies, multiple kids, bad relationships, because we're not intentionally dating and we're promiscuous and irresponsible people. There's 1,000 ways not to get pregnant. But just since magic is still living, because that's what it is, magic is still living, so we feel like we ain't gonna die no more. So having babies is not enough of a deterrent. We kind of did it when the AIDS thing came about, because we ain't even afraid of herpes no more. So we feel, hey, man, if I get it, I can take some pills. Now I'll be all right. So that's what it is. We're having sex and we just having a bunch of babies.
Yeah, no, I was trying to, that's the reason I was asking, I was trying to understand the mindset. So, going off what B-Boxer just said, if a lot of us are not prioritizing the children when the children get here, right? So we're not even in the mindset of being ready to prioritize the kids, then it's like, but then we keep creating them. So we keep creating the kids just to not prioritize the kids. Yep, and then behind that, then somebody will say, well, what's going on with these kids different. It's like, well, we don't prioritize the kids anymore. So I'm just like, if we know we're not going to prioritize the kids, it's like, why even create the kid? And that's why I said, that's why I was trying to understand. So I understand folks is out here, having sex out here. I don't want to get us flagged up. But yeah, I know folks out here doing what they do. But I'm like, if you already know you're not going to prioritize the kid, if you already know you're not going to prioritize the kid between, saying the woman and the man and the man and the woman, then it's like, why do we continue to create the kids just to essentially leave them hanging? Like it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? And then leveraging the video, going back to the video, you have a situation, based on what the gentleman was saying, where, we have a culture that is prioritizing the kid. Yep, and making sure they inject into the kid, and then thus, like Beatboxer said, we see the cream of the crop. Yeah, every time we walk into a hospital, most of the doctors, is Eastern Indian. Every time we walk into an engineering firm, most of the engineers is Eastern Indian. Like we see the results. Yeah, so we're seeing the prioritization of children from a union most of the time. Now, I can't speak on what happens when they come over to the West. That's a whole nother thing. But at least back there, they was in a union, married, creating a family, and building. Yep, and then we see what that looks like as it translates over into the West, as you get into the United States and so forth. We see the results. Yeah, I mean, you pretty much can't go anywhere in any type of facility nowadays, and you're gonna see some Eastern Indians in some prominent spots. The surgeons, you're gonna see it. Yep, the architects, the engineers, the IT the programmers, the coders, like you're gonna see it. So yeah, I'm just like I said, I think we back to a mindset issue for me. It almost comes back to mindset and being selfish. The brother, the guy in the video said another thing that I want to run past y'all and just get y'all thoughts on. So he said that some of these Eastern Indian parents are very judgmental. Do we think that Black folks, especially in a relationship when it comes to a kid, should be more judgmental? Go ahead, Vince.
Absolutely. I don't know if any of y'all got kids, but I got 6 of them. And I got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And I'm going to tell her, look, that boy is nothing. He ain't going to be nothing. Look, that girl is fast. Leave her alone. Yep, I'm going to press judge. Yeah, I am.
Why?
Because I know what's best for you. And I can see things you can't see. And I need to protect you from yourself.
Okay. I hear that right there. That makes sense to me, man. Cole, did you want to say something there, Cole?
I think some families in the community are judgmental about the person that they allow their child to date, but to me, I think it's based on like social economic like status or class.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think I think a lot of it also what I've seen is, man, I feel like I'm
deep breath.
You want me to say it for you, B-Box? Because I don't care.
I think you kind of know what I'm about to say.
Oh my God!
But because it's now a lot of the families women led. It's a lot of goofy stuff like, how tall is he? How sexy is he? How does he speak? Does he sound like like one of the things I dealt with? I speak white, right? So I had to deal with that a little bit, right? Well, he don't sound ethnic enough for me, and you got to find somebody who's like stuff like that, where it's like, okay, like, what are we really talking about here? So, like, that's personally happened to me, or I didn't have children yet, so I got like looked at like, oh, are you gay? What's wrong with you? Like, yeah, I'm just 21. Like, I don't want kids at 21. Like, that's not what I want to do right now. That doesn't mean I don't like sex. Like I think we have judgment, but it's just goofy stuff. It's stuff that means nothing. Like, I'm like with Vince, yeah, like a lot of Eastern people are more judgmental, but it's things that matter. Like, is this guy in school? Does this guy have good character? Does he have a 5-year plan? What is his outlook on life? Does he have some sort of religion or something some sort of code? Things like that, right? Things that shouldn't matter. I mean, what a guy looks like, that matters to a degree, right? But things like that, I'm like, bro, like, we just worry about the wrong stuff. Like, I'm sorry, we just do. I don't know.
Like, for instance, me, I want I want for my kids to find somebody that comes from a two-parent household, a married two-parent household. I want them to come from how they were raised. I don't want you to bring me nobody off 7 Mile and Bewick that's been raised by their mama and a bunch of aunties and their grandmama, and they never had no male figure. You are not going to be able to properly take care of my daughter, because my daughter is going to have high standards. And hopefully she'll marry somebody like her father. And hopefully my son will be like his daddy and marry somebody like his mama. So I want them to understand that and understand the value of cooperation. I'm not going to say submission because people get so triggered by that. Cooperation, marriage cooperation. And understand you find somebody that, yes, who wants to take care of you and is going to do his best to do that. And you want to take care of him. I don't want nobody who having issues with their daddy and issues with their, no, you find somebody that come from where you come from and it'll work out better. Yeah, it will. Yeah, it's one where you don't know well, my daughter and son ain't gonna take them kind of chances. And they're gonna be, well, you don't know what she's gonna be around. Yeah, I do. I know exactly what she's gonna be around. She ain't gonna be able to meet Calvin.
Let me ask this question. I'm about to put Cole on the spot real fast. Cole, I got a question for you since we're talking about the Eastern Indian families. As a woman in 2025, how would you feel about an arranged marriage?
So I wouldn't be opposed to it. Because why you I wouldn't be opposed to it. I mean, I would hope I get a little bit of say into like what I'm looking for if I'm at least asked like that. I mean, I don't have to. Can I get one of the things on the list?
It ain't no say. It ain't no say so in
It don't have to
arranged
be
marriage.
nothing crazy, but we can't do what is it? Married at first sight. No, we can't do that. I gotta at least meet the person and talk to him and like.
So let me represent the scenario. So you got your man that you really look up to, and he like, you know what, Cole, I got this guy. I've been mentoring this guy. This guy is ready. He got his stuff together, money's together. He got multiple houses. He ain't out here in the streets. He ready to settle down, get married, start a family. You know, he looking for somebody around 30 years old. He ready to get to it. And he's a genuine man. If that man came to you like, Nicole, I'm ready to lock it in for you. Is you rolling or you got questions?
I will roll.
How tall is he?
I was about to say, oh my God. I was like, can he please, can my one ask be that he just be taller than me? He don't have to be 6 feet, but can I just look up to him? Please.
Dang.
I know.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Can I just look up to him? That's all. I did not say 6 feet. I said just look up. That's it.
You're taller than you. I understand. I understand. Go ahead, Vince. I know you wanted to go ahead and get at it, Vince.
I'll take it off Cole, but I don't think it will work because I think you done seen too much. I think this culture done seen too much and did too much. I don't think it will work with any of modern women to be in arranged marriages because y'all don't value the things that marriage is really for.
So you saying too many experiences, basically.
Yeah, and they want somebody that's emotionally intelligent, somebody go spend some time with them, and somebody who's gonna love them. Marriage wasn't really for that. And so if you don't have that understanding and then just find love in those things, most women, they want a provider as long as the provider is still emotionally intelligent. As long as he still can rub your feet. As long as they don't want somebody who's a real provider that's at work 15 hours a day for 20 years building an empire, and you're there with the kids, and you see him every now and again. You're gonna get bored. You're gonna feel like I'm here by myself. It's not gonna work, which I understand.
I
So
wouldn't mind it. I don't want to see my person every day because I got stuff to do. But
Cole says
I
she's talking about
I would
height.
just
She said height.
I would just ask for at least a day if I
So then
had an
why you
option.
gotta look up to him? You don't even want to see him.
Yes, I do want to see him, but I'm just saying I don't. It's okay if I don't see him every
Coco,
day
she
because
wants
we
the
got
table.
life to
You can't make this
do.
shit up.
We got life to do. It's like
Okay, let me.
okay.
I'm sorry. I don't want to derail. I don't want to derail it, but I got. I just want to
I'll
ask.
pull us back in a
you
minute.
said
Go ahead.
that.
Go ahead.
So I've been hearing that, right? And this is not to attack you. It's just that I finally have somebody that can answer this question for me, right?
Uh-oh.
I've been hearing that a lot lately, though. I've been hearing more and more women saying, I actually don't have to have my man sitting up under me. I don't need that. Like, he can have his space, I can have my space. We don't have to. So I've been hearing that a lot more frequently. So what's the mindset there? How do you get to that point, right? Where you're like, hey, like he can have his space, I have my space. Like, we don't have to. Like, how do you get there, and what does that look like? Does that look like the same? Is that the same way in a marriage, or what does that look like practically speaking? And how did you get there?
Good question. So, how did I get there? Honestly, I think it's just due to my own experience. Like I've dated a person who wasn't as busy as me, and I dated a person who's has been as busy as me, if not more. And then there's been situations where I probably have been like completely unavailable or mostly unavailable. So I think it's just kind of different experiences. And I've had to adjust. Like the adjustment wasn't always like pretty. Um, so I think just experiences, and then um I guess just going through honestly just going through life. Like life be life in. So it's like sometimes, each person is in different stages, and either they got like, I don't know, a lot more family time. Like it's just life just kinda be different for certain people. So I've definitely had to adjust. But I've become more comfortable with if I did have a partner, I wouldn't have to see them every day. I mean, just like I would at least like to hear from them, but I don't have to like see them every day. But I definitely would it expect to at least hear from them, like, hey, are you breathing? Are you alive? You need something? What's going on? What's the plans for the day? You know.
I got a question
I
for
don't
Cole.
think that will. I don't think that will work.
I got a question for Cole. You say you had to
I ain't,
adjust. You say you had to adjust to
I ain't say
not.
all that now. I ain't say live separate, but
Nah, that was
Well, I mean,
chaotic.
I
Go
know
ahead,
that
Joe.
part.
Ask your question, Joe. Go ahead,
I've
man.
heard that though. I have
When
heard
you
that.
say you had to adjust to um not being, I guess you up under somebody, or being like glued to somebody. Um, so is this something that you say you is this something that you want, where you don't want to do it, or is it because of your past experiences you believe that it's not possible to have that kind of bond of connection with a man, because when you've attempted to do it, it didn't work out, and you felt like almost like a response to that person being too busy. Like, well, fine, and I'm not going to reciprocate in the same way because it's too much. It's too painful to go down that route, and it's better for us to do here and there. Like, I see you, you see me, we together for a time, and then you kind of do your own thing. Or is this a genuine personal decision on your part, where it's like it's just a part of your personality?
no, I definitely would say early on, I definitely was a person that wanted to see my partner more. And I did date somebody who had more time, and that was his expectation to have more family time. But in the stage of life that I was in, I just I basically had to deal with the fact that I was the one that didn't have the time, given different circumstances. So through there, I know that was a reflection point where I kind of forcefully had to adjust. Um, and then I think over time, and it might be cultural, but some men that I've dated, for them, they're very accustomed to just like working and just kind of just checking in. So in that instance, I don't know if it just like reinforced,
Mhm.
like a forceful adjustment.
That
Oh,
makes sense.
yeah.
Okay. No, I understand that. That makes
But
sense.
which one
I
would you
appreciate.
prefer? Would you prefer?
He said, "Wait, try to answer that question out of way." But
I just got it's a small one. Because
no, no,
you
no,
say you had to
no.
adjust, but do you prefer what it was in the beginning, I guess, when you was more naive, or do you prefer the way that it is now, where it's
I
kind of
wasn't
like,
naive. Wait. I wasn't naive now. Hold on.
well, naive to like how your experiences have been in terms of not of men not having enough time or yourself not having enough time? Would you prefer that you had more time to be with the man that you really wanted to be, and vice versa? Is what I'm asking.
So that's a good question. Um, of my of my heart of hearts, I would prefer to have more time, but I am willing to accept that that may not be a reality.
Oh.
Okay.
You know what she prefers, right? 6 feet.
Oh
Come
my God.
on.
I did not say that. I did not say that. I only said if I could look up to the person because I've dated people shorter than me and it just did not work. So at least my preference is to just look up.
I
Yeah.
mess with you,
No,
Cole. I understand. I mess with you.
yeah, I got Cole. I got Cole back on this. She has definitely said that repeatedly. She ain't said he had to be 6 feet. She just said he got to be taller than her. So she has definitely said that. I'm gonna co-sign that. All right,
Thank you.
let me keep us going because I got a plethora of videos down here. So let me hit up number 2.
Men sacrifice their happiness for marriage, women sacrifice their marriage for their happiness. Because sis said that doesn't make sense. So let me break it down because this is something that men are saying. And so maybe if I say it, it will kind of resonate a little bit more. I'm not going to hold you. A lot of times, women, we only think about us and what we give up and what we sacrifice. I mean, men do this too, but in marriage, a lot of times we don't always consider what the men give up. Now, this is going to sound crazy because our needs are different, but before y'all react, before y'all get triggered, before y'all just listen first and then comment. Just then comment. When men get married, it is not a fairy tale for them. They're not looking forward to this extravagant wedding. They are not rushing to be with one woman. Now, hear me out. A good man, a man that's God-fearing, does not mind giving up that part of himself to be with one woman. Most men, though, it is not their dream and their fantasy to be with one person the way it is for us. We don't need a slew of men. We don't need a roster. We don't need a bunch of people to make us feel good. Men are way more sexual than we are. We are content with one person. Men have to fight against their flesh, fight against their natural desires to be with multiple women. So that is a sacrifice they give up for the woman that they love. And I know somebody's going to be like, but they cheat. I'm not talking about them. I'm just saying in general. Just listen, y'all. Stay here, ladies, because I know how y'all get. Just wait a minute. Also, when a man gets married, he is sacrificing not only protecting himself, but he has to now protect a family. If a cop, burglar, whatever comes to the door, like if anybody knocks at the door, my husband answers the door because he is the protector of this household. He does not expect me to get up in the middle of the night or get up when the doorbell rings to make sure that the household is protected. That is his job. So a man knows when I sign up to be a husband, I am now her protection and my children's protection. Men also know that their resources are no longer for them, they are for their family. However, good men do not mind because that's what makes them feel good as men. However, it is a huge investment in the man. They're investing their time, their loyalty, they're going against their nature to be with one woman, love one woman, take care of a family because they love, when they're loved properly, when they know that woman has their back and that she's loyal, they don't mind making that sacrifice. They don't mind denying the things that they want, the good ones. They don't mind denying the things that they want to make sure that their family is straight. That's why back in the day, granddaddy, even men today though, men will sacrifice, get up every single day and never complain about having to go to work, never complain about sitting in traffic, never complaining about your nasty pot roast, never complaining. They will just live their lives. They shut up. They do what they got to do to put their family on their back, to hold it down in any way they can. The good ones, not saying men are perfect. I'm just saying that's what they sacrifice. Women, we make sacrifices, right? We bear the children, we hold down the home, but it's equal exchange. The difference is men don't really complain about their sacrifices. And into the women who say that, well, I do everything. Sis, that's the marriage you signed up for. No tea, no shade. No tea, no shade. Y'all gotta work that out. So when men say women will sacrifice their marriage for their happiness, when women say, you know what, I've been with this man for 12 years. We have kids together. We built this home together. We have a life together. But right now, this marriage is not serving me. And I need to go outside this marriage. I need to break up my home. I need to break up my family to go be happy. Men don't understand that crap because that man ain't been happy for a while, but he sucked it up and kept doing what he needed to do for his family. And then you'll have other women go, yeah, girl, your happiness is over your children's happiness. Your happiness is over the heartbreak that's going to cause to your husband. Your happiness is over everything. You see how crazy that sounds? It's very selfish. So no, you don't care that your children will have to go back and forth between different homes. No, you won't care about how that is going to hurt your husband because he might be very stoic and not show it, but he still has feelings, especially if he was a good man, especially if he denied people and his feelings and the stuff that he wanted to do for you. And just for you to turn around and be like, I'm unhappy. And then when we go out into the world, and we realize fat meat ain't greasy and the grass ain't greener and the dating pool is, then we get mad. Then it's men's problem, and it's men's fault. And other men are sitting there looking at you like we could have told you that, because what they know that we do not is that every man is not going to love you the way your husband loves you. Yes, I know you think you're great. Yes, I know that you are beautiful and your booty is plump and all this other stuff. But men know that they only really love a few women in their lives. They will sleep with a lot of women. They will give attention to a lot of women. But the love down, it's only about 2 or 3. So when a man decides, hey, I want you, I love you enough to marry you, I love you enough to protect you, provide, whatever. Again, the good ones, because somebody gonna be in the comments, the good ones. Other men are bewildered and bamboozled that you couldn't sacrifice just a little uncomfortability, a little unhappiness, a little just to get through that season, because what they know that we don't is our emotions don't last forever. Men are not emotional like we are. They know how to thug it out through their emotions to get to the other side. Now, I'm not saying that any of this is easy. I'm not saying that every marriage is going to be perfect and you ain't going to have your issues and you ain't going to have your ups and downs. But if you get married in your 20s and your 30s and you plan to be with this person for the rest of your life and you don't think you ain't going to have a few years of hard or misery or whatever, you don't think that you ain't going to have to go through something. Again, I'm not talking about cheating because somebody's going to be like, cheating. I'm not talking about that. But we as women have to understand that sometimes our happiness is our job. Sometimes it's not our marriage, it's going to get a hobby. Sometimes it ain't got nothing to do with your family or why you ain't unhappy. Sometimes it's your hormones. Sometimes you just need to get a life, girl. Sometimes you need new friends. Sometimes you might just need a vacation. So I am not the guru to marriage, but I had to break that down because sis didn't understand what I was talking about. Men say it to each other all the time and it clicks. So hopefully with that explanation, I know somebody is going to miss somebody. It's okay. Hopefully with that explanation, you understand what they mean. why men sacrifice their happiness for their marriage and women sacrifice their marriages for their happiness.
Okay.
Woo.
So yeah, so let's say we still talking legacy, and I think this all plays in. So what y'all think about what the young lady was saying, Vince? I know you sent that over my way. Yeah, that came for you, man. I got it. I caught the original. I got the original. So yeah, coming to the panel, what y'all think about what the young lady said? Was she spot on? Was she capping? Beatbox, I saw you going through it up there, man. What's going on, man? Come off mute, man.
So I think ultimately, like, her conclusion's fine, but there's a couple things that like kill me. Like the generalizations, like men are more sexual than women. Well, that's not what the stats say. Women have more bodies than men. I don't know why women keep saying that. And then also, what was the other one? Something she said that just killed. It was like, what are we talking? Oh, emotional. A lot of men are emotional. I know a lot of men don't want to hear that, especially my generation. We are emotional people, right? Just because you might do something like he might look stoic, like she did kind of touch on it a little bit, but we're not out here be like, oh, you can do whatever you want to me. It's kind of like, it reminds me of when women say men shouldn't hit women. Like if a woman hits a man, like, oh, you shouldn't retaliate. Well, no, the man, just because I'm bigger than you doesn't mean didn't hurt me or weren't mean to me. So, and it kind of goes into the leadership thing for me too. When some men say, "Well, men should be leaders," I'm like, some of y'all shouldn't lead a dog because you're very emotional. You need to learn to like control that. But I think ultimately her conclusion was spot on. I think men, we will like thug it out for that low point. I think it's kind of akin to I powerlift. And there's times where it like sucks, right? Where I'm at the gym and I'm in pain or whatever. But hey, once I get my PR, it's all worth it. Or like when I played football in school. Yeah, the practices suck. There's times where I'm bruised up and messed up, right? But at the end of the day, there's a goal in mind, and that end goal is to win a game or try to win a championship, right? So there's an end goal for that pain. There's like a meaning to it. And I think that for a decent amount of women, they don't find meaning in some of those bad times. They're like, oh, it's bad. I'm done. It's over. I quit. And I do also think, I will say this though, I do think a lot of men have to take accountability for some of that, because we got to be better at vetting who we're marrying. That doesn't just like stuff like that doesn't come out of nowhere. When women who are flaky, it doesn't, you know it, like, you know who you're with, you know who you're dating. So when a lady leaves and like, oh, she left me and I did all this and that. Yeah, dude, you knew she was like that. Why did you marry her? Why did you do that? I don't want to hear that. Like, I don't want to hear that. Like, it's rare that somebody's a narcissist or a psychopath or sociopath with you for 12 years and she just switched up on you.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry, man. That's just not the deal. That's not what's going on out here. A lot of men are thirsty. I'm sorry. We got to talk about that. Some men are really thirsty for that. I'm sorry, they are. They're really thirsty for like a relationship, and they'll do whatever it takes. And if the woman's not the best person, they'll say, whatever. I'm getting 40% of what I'm getting. If JR is still here, he mentioned this. This is true. If I'm getting 40%, I'll take the 40.
No, don't try to pull JR in this, man. No,
I'm just saying.
Hold on, man.
I'm just saying. There's just a lot of truth to that. Some men will take that 40% or 30%. Like, that's enough for me. I know she's not as attractive, way below attractiveness. She has a really bad attitude, but I'll deal with it. So, and I'll even marry it. That's a problem. There's a lot of men who will do that. So don't do that. Man, please don't do that. It's a bad idea.
Wait. Hold on, man. So
I agree.
Thank you, Vince. I appreciate it.
I agree.
Go ahead. I'm listening. I want to hear this. Go ahead.
A lot of these situations are horrible from the beginning. There's this show on BET called Family and Fiance. I don't know if any of y'all watch it. It's a great show. I think everybody need to have that type of situation before they get married. People ain't gonna listen anyway. But most of these chicks, you know, they didn't cook from the beginning. They was nasty from the beginning. A lot of times they marry because they got a baby. They marrying because they done blended their funds and they can't live without each other, and they used to that struggle love. and they get married, and then it comes to a point where something happens, and and in today's world, in 2025, you almost got to get like 90% of what you want, or it ain't gonna work. Because most people are just not content. I'm not going to say settle, especially women. They are not content. You know, they get one job, they want to go to the next one. They get that job, they want their master's, then they want their doctorate, then they want this. They're never really content. That doesn't mean you're not ambitious. That doesn't mean you're not striving. But most women can't just say, you know what, I'm content in my life right now. It's always looking to something else. And social media has made it a whole lot worse. Because a lot of women will say, you know what, if we go on vacation once a year, it's okay. But now since they see their girlfriend going to the Bahamas every 3 months, now they think that they should do it. Or she got a expensive bag. But a lot of it got to do with they really don't want the person they with. Not for real. And it's too easy to leave.
But if that's the case, which I agree that contentment is the real issue, or lack of contentment is the real issue, then even if they get 90% of what they want, it still ain't gonna work. Because if you just a person that you just aren't content, then even if you get the guy that you say you want, like you're always going to be looking at what you perceive, because it's really perception. What you perceive someone has that you don't have, or you perceive someone has a level of happiness that you want. It's perception, and that's something that's broken in you. That's not the person or the situation or the circumstance. It's really you, because you should be able to find contentment. If you got the job that you said you wanted, I mean, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? There's no perfect scenario. That just doesn't exist. So even if it's something that you say you want, there's still going to be up and downs, pros and cons, like that. That's just life. So the fact that you can't find any contentment in any of these things, especially the things that you say you want, that's a you problem. And I agree. That is a problem that is really prevalent, amongst our current generation. Like, it's prevalent. People don't know how to just be okay. Like, people don't know how to just be content. People don't know how to ride the wave, as they call it. Like, that's life, ups and downs, peaks and valleys. Like, people don't know how to ride the wave. So I agree with everything she said. I think she was spot on. Yes, she made some generalizations, but y'all know we have to do that because we don't know every human being alive. But she did make some generalizations. But I think for the most part, yeah, men have emotions. We know men have emotions. They feel things. I think we need to get away from that idea of saying like men aren't emotional, meaning like men don't feel anything. They don't. I don't like that, the way we explain that. I think we should explain it better. That yes, men have emotions. They just don't allow their emotions to lead them. They know how to emotionally regulate, right? I think and obviously that's also a generalization, because listen, there's some men that don't know how to emotionally regulate. So we know that to be true. But we're talking about men in general, that they don't have this. It's not their nature to be overly emotional about all of the things all of the time, right? And then you guys don't necessarily have to deal with the ups and downs of hormones and that whole thing like women do. So yes, we can say comparatively, we have more issues with that than men do, okay? Which is why you shouldn't be making it, like, I'm just going to go, I don't want to go too far in a tangent. I'm just going to say this and then I'll let it go. Women, all these women that are in their like 40s or like late 30s to 40s, and all of a sudden they don't want to be married anymore. It's perimenopause. Stop leaving y'all marriages because you peri. Stop leaving your marriages. Stop doing that, because this is one of the most confusing times for a woman. You don't feel the same. You don't look the same. You don't act the same. You don't talk the same. You can't even eat the same food. You can't drink the same drinks. You can still get pregnant, but you definitely don't want that. It's just all kinds of things going on. Like, let me just be so for real for a minute and talk to Lace, because that's what I do. Please do not make a decision like that when you're in that headspace. That is not a good time to make that decision. This is one of those times where you need to ride the wave, sis. I promise you it will pass. But what I'm seeing is it's almost like women get in the headspace and they go, oh no, my life. What is my life? And then they start feeling like they got to rethink everything about their life all of a sudden, even though they're literally living the life that they said they wanted. They're married, they got a husband, they got kids, they got the house, they got the car. But all of a sudden it's, oh my God, my life. It's almost over. And I never had a whole face. You know what I'm saying? And now they're like, oh my goodness, I'm going to miss out. And I'm like, girl, it's not, don't do it. Please don't do it. Because you're going to find yourself, like she said, out there, and you're going to realize that the dating pool is busy and it's not giving what you think. It's not. So just ride the wave. This is when you ride the wave. Trust me, this is when you ride the wave. But that's not what's happening. And so whenever I see these women, and they're middle-aged women, yes, middle-aged, and they're like, oh, I don't want to be, I'm just not happy anymore. And my life, and I have dreams and I have goals, and I'm like, girl, you 45. Yeah. If you ain't accomplished that dream by now, sis, maybe it's the wrong dream. Because if I would have asked you at 30, if I would have asked you, I'm gonna say why I'm saying that, because when I asked you at 30, your dream was get married, have a kid, have a house in the suburbs, have 2 cars, have a this, have a that. You got that. I thought that was the dream. So what are we talking about? What's this new dream you're talking about in the middle of a midlife crisis? What is this new dream? It's not your dreams, it's your hormones. Please stop. No, and I'm not making fun of it either. It's not a funny thing. It's very serious. But yet we see this happening all the time. Like these women, like making these huge decisions to leave their marriages and leave the lives that they built, that they said they wanted. It's insane. Then the last thing I will say is this. She ain't never lied, because my pot roast is horrible. It's trash. I cannot make good pot roast.
On.
I do not. It's not my ministry. So if y'all got a recipe or something, let me know, because I don't do pot roast. Pot roast hate to see me coming.
You can't make this shit up.
Okay. All right. Shout out to that pot roast. All right. Well, we're gonna keep it rolling. JR, I saw you hop off mute for a minute, man. You want to say something, man? You've been quiet, man.
Save me, JR. Save me.
Yeah, JR kind of hiding out. Oh, there you go. Go ahead, JR.
Yeah, a lot's been said there. Yeah. So I think obviously the conversation is more gone towards obviously, women obviously leaving the relationships and whatnot. And I think obviously both parties understand that obviously, things do go on in a relationship. And, both parties not going to be happy and whatnot. And I've always said this, and I said it previously, like, I don't believe that women are, so-called like monsters or whatever it is, for leaving marriages. I think it's just more case of they've just been given an easy way out to leave the marriages, and for the men who are sitting there thinking, yeah, I'm not happy, and we go for 3 things and you're able to just get up and leave. We're not saying that, she just woke up one day and decide to leave. Of course, it doesn't happen like that. But, both people go through things, and that's one of the things that's affecting the relationships today, because it's like, even if you go on social media and you're looking at conversation about, people getting married and all that stuff, right? The conversation is not even about people staying together. It's about the women guaranteeing that they get something when they leave, and it's like, it's a hard watch for men to then say, okay, yeah, I want to work hard and I want to share these resources for the family and keep it going. But the narrative is it's that she has to make sure she leaves with something. And it's like recent, just another big one as well. Cristiano Ronaldo is there talking about, asking him when he's gonna marry his girlfriend. They've been together for about 9 years. She's a mother of 3 kids. They've got 2 together. He had one from a previous relationship. So of course, later sitting there thinking that, hold on, you've raised another woman's child. You've given him 2 kids, X, Y, Z. How come he hasn't married you? Now, men are sitting there, commenting back to Leighton saying like, he ain't stupid. He already got there before her. And on top of that, she was a nobody. He got her from the Gucci store or wherever it was. And she is living a very, very, very nice lifestyle that you could all ever wish for without a ring. So men are seeing this, and they're basically saying he's not stupid enough to work that hard as a man, become this said person, and for her to just randomly wake up one day, right? If they all both go through things, and he could potentially lose everything that he's ever worked for when he was single. And men are seeing this. And we're not saying that, yeah, every man's going to get there, but every man or majority of guys are dreaming or do want to get there. And it's disheartening to see women want to just make sure when I go into this, I can leave with something. How do we build legacy from there? If that's the thought and the mindset of the women, and like I said, they don't want to build, they just want to take it. And like I said, things happen in the relationship, right? The only reason there's a fight back in the terms of the taking is because I don't want to take everything that I've worked for. I want to share it if it goes wrong, because you're giving me kids, you need that assistance. If I was willing to give you that money for the family, why would I not want to look after you if we're broken up and you're gonna look after the kids? I gotta make sure you're still good. But it's the woman's mindset to want to take it. It lives a sad thought in a man's mind that I'm gonna commit to this, and any day, because of the system, not because of the woman, because of the system, she can just pull the plug at any given time.
I feel you. Let me let Cole. I know she wanted to come after you. Go ahead, Cole. You're on mute. Come off mute.
The scary parts of the video for me, I mean, I don't know what's right or wrong. I just know it was just a little scary and fearful for me of saying the things that the men give up, like we are doing. I guess if they're really doing us a service by staying with us, like that kind of hurt a little bit.
Oh, come on.
That's how it
Wait,
came off.
what? Hold on.
That's
Death
how
is
it
a
came
service.
off. That's how it came off. Like she was just like, "Man, give up this." I'm like, I mean, I thought it was an agreement.
Do you think that? Do you think men give
Can I
up those things? So do you think so?
can I
The
can I
things that
respond?
she said, the things that she said, men give up, right? Do you think? Did you agree with the things that she said men do give up? Do you agree with those things, or you don't agree with all of those things?
I don't. I so to
Let
be
me.
honest, I never really thought about it. Because I honestly don't think the
and
question's ever been
and
asked or the situation's ever come up, like just straight up like, oh, they give up something. I think it was honestly always implied that the women do.
Okay, ding, 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 ding. That's why men aren't marrying women these days. Because women don't even care enough, and not you. I'm not talking about you because you're here asking questions. So that means you're invested. But some women don't care enough to even think what this man has to go through in a marriage. We think about what it means for us, right? We think about what we want out of the wedding. We think about what we want out of the marriage. We think about those things, but we're not thinking about what does it mean for a man and why a man might take longer to decide to propose. A man is going to take a little longer maybe to decide to propose. He might hesitate. He might be working on getting certain things in order because of the exact things that she said, because he knows that his resources now are going to have to be split. Just being honest, right? Even if he is got a great job, right? He knows now though that those resources that were all coming to him, that he could do whatever he wanted to do with those resources. He now has to take those resources and he has to be responsible for a family, right? He now does not have free license with his time, because she's going to want time. The kids are going to need time, right? He's going to have to make time to keep things around the home, to take care of things that need to be done for her, for the kids, for the upkeep of the home, maintenance, all of that. He now understands that his life is now not just in danger for the decisions that he makes, but every decision that is made by every other person in that home is now a threat to his safety and his security, because he becomes the protector. So the kids can run out and do something stupid. He has to go play hero now. It's not even his fault. It doesn't have anything to do with him, but he has to go out and do that. She could go put herself in a nefarious situation, and now he has to go step in between that because he's the protector. These are things, all of these things men have to consider before they decide to become someone's husband. And as women, this is why they're upset with us. Because they're like, we do all this because we love you. Like, men really do genuinely get to the point where they love you. They have to if they do all this, baby girl. They're not doing it just because you cute, because they can have you and enjoy your cuteness and not marry you. So please understand, men are upset because they're willing to do these things, and we just simply don't care. We don't even care to know. We don't even care to know that this is what their life is like. And like she said, they are willingly doing it. They're willingly doing it. The good ones, she did caveat, they're willingly doing it. They don't mind doing it. But what they don't want to is do it for someone who is ungrateful, unappreciative, so independent minded that she does not want to even submit to his leadership. That's a raw deal. Why would he want to do that? And for the women who don't understand it, are so hyper fixated on what they're going to get out of it or what they have to give up. Yes, you do give up some things. You do give up some things. Okay. But that's the point. Everybody's making a sacrifice. He's making sacrifices. You're making sacrifices. They're just different for the both of you. And you come to the table understanding that. He comes to the table understanding the sacrifices you're going to make and appreciating those things. You come to the table understanding the sacrifices that he's going to make, and you appreciate those things. And therefore, you're willing to do it. He's willing to do it. If one of the people decide that they don't care or they're no longer as invested, right? Then it becomes lopsided. That's what she meant, right? Then it's women don't want to ride the wave, but the men are still there trying to hold on, like that kind of thing, right? That's what she meant.
Yeah, and I just want to add this, and then I'm gonna come back to the panel. I saw a couple folks coming off mute. To respond to what you were saying, Cole, I also think what is happening in this situation as well is people are not understanding the difference between expectations and sacrifices. Yeah, I think some of these things, ladies just expect that this is just how this gonna go, and that's not accurate. Yep, a guy that lives the way that the young lady in the video was speaking of, he's intentional. Yeah, he's a selfless guy. Yes, he goes to work every day and don't complain. Yeah, he brings home the money, and the primary receivers of the money is everybody in the household. He grabbed his out of what's left. Like, these are certain types of intentional guys. This ain't all guys. This ain't everybody. Yeah, but I think that's the problem. And I think what happens is we have situations where, Listen, I know we talking both sides right now, but I think we have situations where some of our ladies out here, they just think that that's what they're going to get. And that's not realistic. Yep, that's not realistic because every guy is not cut this way. Now, he may have some of these traits, but most guys are not going to have all these traits unless they've got to a certain point mentally where they understand what their purpose is and how they need to move, especially if they step into the family space and the marriage space. Yeah, but this is just not going to come to every woman. It's not going to just come every woman's way because every man is not intentional on how he moving out here. So the issue is, and I think what we need to consider is when this dude does present himself, a woman needs to make sure she is the woman that he needs her to be. Because it's not a lot of him out here.
Yeah,
Yep,
I had a
go ahead.
I was gonna say after this I'll send you the it was another video regarding this. I'll send to you. But I'm not gonna lie, hearing her comments, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm questioning then who is like the real beneficiary of marriage then.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
serious.
Well,
What
you
do you
said
think?
who is
If
the
she
real
the
beneficiary of
way
marriage?
she worded it like that,
I'm laughing because you know what? I love you, Cole. I
Aw.
genuinely do. I love you. No, for real, because you're asking genuine questions, and I
For sure,
appreciate the fact that you are asking genuine questions because you genuinely want the answers to questions. Like I appreciate that. Yeah, men benefit from marriage, and I think the married men up here will tell you that they have benefited from their marriages, but women do stand to benefit. I mean, women do stand to benefit more. We do. We do stand to benefit more. And I think that that's. I think that that's a. What'd you say, Joe?
Nah,
Just
can I
go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, she was on a roll.
They chomping at the bit
Continue.
down here.
Go
ahead,
on,
Coco.
Miss
Let
Go
you
on,
get
Miss
it
Clay.
out.
Sorry to cut you off. Go on,
I ain't asking no more questions. I ain't asking no more questions.
They hot down
I
here. Go
was
ahead.
gonna say, it's a good question, right? And it's a case of both people benefit in terms of how they see fit, right? Now, like Mr. Price just said, every man is not going to be at the same level as everybody else. So, depending on the relationship, right, you're going to get what you benefit from that said guy, depending on what he has. So, both parties get to benefit depending on what their situation is. But let's ask Mr. Vince how his wife benefits, please.
Well, for the men that these women say they want, they definitely benefit because they don't have the pressure of having to slaughter the beast and bring the beast. All they got to do is cook the meat. We have all the pressure for the guys that y'all want. Now, if it's 50-50, 60-40, 30-70, and you working, he working, y'all both paying the mortgages, then it benefits both of you guys until the end, and then it both benefits. But for the men that these ladies say that they want, these six-figure dudes at 30, so if you're making six figures at 30, his ending salary is what? 300? I mean, if you make 150 at 30, he has to be some type of career-minded professional. It ain't just a junk man. So if he making 300, and even if you working, he probably paying all the bills. If you smart, you saving your money, you gonna benefit more.
Now let's
It
flip the
just is
question.
what it is for now.
Let's flip the question, Vince.
So my wife, she says she benefits more because she doesn't have the stress or be able to have to take care of the family. I do.
So let's flip the question, Vince. Now on the other side, in what way do you benefit? If she benefits more, what do you get out of it?
I benefit from having somebody that loves me more than I love myself. I just went to the eye doctor today. I wouldn't have went to the I never went to the doctor. So I got a woman that loves me, is gonna make sure I'm going out there prepared. Baby, you went to the doctor, baby, what you eating, baby? You eat. That's what I get. I got somebody that loves me, that's raising my legacy, and that's her first and only job. She don't put nothing before being a mother, not no job, not no girlfriends or nothing else. So that's the benefit I get. I got
This is why
somebody, and then I also have understood just by experience, men that have been married have lived better lives. They just have. They funerals are standing room only. People that have loved them, co-workers, kids. These single men that never been married, they had a couple kids, you have 5 people at their wedding. I mean at their funeral.
funeral.
And don't nobody say nothing about them. They live
Mm.
and die like they've never been here. And that's the saddest thing, to go to a funeral where a man died at maybe 65 and don't nobody say nothing good about him, not even his kids. It's a sad thing.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
real. Cole, you want to respond to him, Cole? Then we come down to the bottom. Go ahead, Cole.
Yeah, I had a follow-up question for Vince and Beatboxer. Then, do you think that your benefits of being married are only intangible?
No, there's nothing like, and me and my wife, there's nothing like being in love. There's nothing.
That's
There's
intangible,
nothing like
right?
being in love. There's nothing like the love of a wife or a husband. It's it's even better than kids. I know people. I love my wife. It's nothing like it. It's nothing like getting up in the morning and understanding I got a beautiful wife.
Oh,
Waiting.
come on.
Miss Cole, I'll answer it for you. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Damn,
Mr. Vince
JR.
is being too nice.
Hey, hold on, JR. You just gonna bust up in there?
Nah,
Yeah,
because
you
she's
married.
asking.
You
Nah,
know
she's
what?
asking
You know
good
what
I was
people
about to
say?
ask
questions.
the
And you
same
know
thing.
what
Yeah.
people say? You know what
I
Nah,
was
people
she's
like,
say
wait,
all
asking
we
the
good
don't know.
time too?
questions.
And Cole,
Nah,
you know
she's
what
asking
people
good
say all the
questions.
time too that I don't even care no more? Well, it's because you got money. And
No, it's more.
Yeah.
It's more than that, man.
well,
It
you know
ain't
what
about.
people,
Yeah.
I see
Nah.
people
Yeah,
say,
for sure,
other
for
people say,
sure.
that's because you got money. It's
But
more
that's
Yeah.
that.
Nah.
people.
That's
Good.
that hating. I know what that is. Let me let JR go ahead. Go ahead, JR. I'm gonna let you get
Yeah.
this piece. Go ahead,
Nah.
man.
Nah. It's a good question, right? Because with what Mr. Vince said previously, she's like asking like tangibles and intangibles, right? We men understand that we got to give the tangibles, and we receive the intangibles from women, and we
Boom.
understand that as men. We understand it. That's just how it is, Miss Cole. So the love that we get from the woman, she's giving us kids, all of that stuff. We understand the
That's
sacrifice.
not intangibles though. Giving you kids is not intangible.
No, I'm saying, yeah. Of
That's
course, there's that,
tangible.
right?
So
No,
women
that's
get
a tangible.
tangible
Oh,
and intangibles.
Yeah,
Let's go.
yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. But I'm saying, yeah, we as men, we understand the
Put
things
some
that
respect
women.
on it.
Yeah. Hey, Miss Price, come on, you know me. Come on, you know me. Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying is, yeah, as men, we understand that the things that we give women, we're not gonna necessarily get that or majority of that in return, and we're okay with that because the things that we ask from you lot ain't the same things that you ask from us. So we just understand that, and we're okay with that. But like
I'm not
Mr.
okay
Price
with
said,
that.
I mean, sorry, Mr. Vince said,
I'm not okay with that.
you love us, you take care of us,
I'm not okay with that.
like he said it himself, like the care that his wife gives him. It's not that he doesn't give her that; he just gives her that in a different way.
I know, JR. See, this is about the last conversation we had about men will take 40%. This is what I'm talking about. I care more about just getting intangible stuff. Okay. So marriage is intangible, right? So there's things like I can be very vulnerable with my wife, right? Things that I can really say or be with other people, I can be that with her, right? The children, I guess that's great and all, but sometimes children get on your nerves. I'm just being honest. Let's just be honest.
Oh,
I'm just being
come
honest.
on.
That's just true. But listen, my kids are 4 and 2 and a baby, and so especially a 2-year-old, he is a menace. Things like intimacy that you wouldn't have with anybody else but your wife. Those things matter, but like I said, I think men need to kind of raise the standards a little bit too. You need tangible stuff as well from your wife. And if you're not getting tangible stuff from your wife, I think you kind of know where you're at. She kind of doesn't really like you like that. And I think men really need to like understand that. Like I've heard sometimes men say, well, women never give, like women, when they get married, women don't really give access to your, they don't really have, what the money's theirs, right? And they keep it, and that they don't really help with the household. I'm like, well, my man, you kind of know where you're at then, my man, because there are men out here, me included, I'll put my hand up, where my wife helps out with some of the bills too, because she liked me like that. So and otherwise, why am I with this woman? I don't want another child in the house. I'd rather be by myself. So I think a lot of men need to really have a real serious look at who they're with, where they stand in the sexual marketplace, and have a real like introspective on that. Because when men say, "Oh, women don't spend on men," yes, they do. They spend on Pookie. They spend on a lot of dudes that they like. If he's 6 foot, Cole, right? If he's 6 foot, you're gonna spend on him, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God!
Leave me out of it. Leave me out of it.
All I'm saying is that this is why I'll leave it with this. This is why when some guys say this came out of nowhere, like no, a lot of these things didn't come out of nowhere. She liked you for certain things, and then when that certain thing was getting boring for her, she said, "I'm out," because you didn't make her tingle. And and men, if you're willing to not being with a woman that doesn't get, she's like mailing it in for you every time you have sex with her, fine. If that's what you want, that's just not gonna last. So.
Man,
I want tangible stuff, JR. I want tangible stuff.
Let me ask this question. I'm gonna come right back to the panel, man. What is I've been hearing this tingling stuff a lot lately. Everything tingling out here. What is this tingling stuff really about? Because see, this didn't used to be the case. Yeah, girl, you know what I'm saying? Used to connect with a young lady. You know what I'm saying? Y'all had some good conversation. I said, Vince know what I'm talking about. Y'all go catch a little Chili's or something. Little what was we doing up here for Fridays or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Get y'all a little Jack Daniels sampler, go on a couple dates, go bowling, you know what I'm saying? Catch a couple movies or whatever. And it's like she was riding with you. But it's like, nah, it's all this tingling. If she ain't tingling, she getting bored. Now she about to leave. And it's like, what is all of this? Where is this mess coming from? Go ahead, Vince.
I think the problem is that she didn't like you in the first place. And see, women will think that they can grow to like a guy, which I've never understood that. Either you like him or like a men know you like somebody right off the bat. Men don't be playing. Well, maybe he outgrow the. No, women think that they can grow to like somebody, and then that's what they call settle. Because you really don't like them in the first place. That's the problem. So like with me, I could take my wife to White Castle and we can go to the drive-in. And it's just as good as Ruth's Chris and something else because we like each other. We're best friends. We communicate. So the problem is, and everybody's not for everybody. Of course, I haven't dated everyone that's like me. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like every woman that I've ever dated like me. But that's the problem. You trying to get her to like you, and she don't like you. So it's easier for her to leave when she don't like you no way.
Right, that makes sense. No, I appreciate that right there. All right, let me come on now to the bottom. Is that Marjorie? I'm saying that right, ain't it?
Marjorie.
Marjorie, nice to see you again. It's been a little minute. You want to get something off your chest?
Yeah, glad I got to catch y'all tonight. I be usually missing y'all. Be busy doing stuff, but I was listening to Coco talking about how she deal with them women, the married women, the older married women. Girl, I tried that. That you got to have a special place in your heart for them women, cause it's like just the homegirls that probably ain't got no more, cause be like complaining about the man. And I'm like, girl, what are you complaining about? He doing this, he doing that, and you got a problem with that? Come on now, like stop, like like complaining about he fixing stuff, making noise. Girl, what? Jesus. And I'm like, so the Lord said that is not that's not where he calling me. That ain't my calling. You got to be called for that. So Coco, you call for that. What I'm working on is the young women preparing to get married, that want to be married, and preparing them for battle. Like you got to see marriage is like you on a battlefield. If you ain't ready for the fight, if you ain't ready to go in this marriage thinking, realizing you fighting to stay married, you fighting to stay loving your spouse, you fighting to keep yourself together. If that ain't the mentality, you ain't ready for marriage. If you think you're going to go in holding hands and being fa la la walking on the beach, you're going to be disappointed. And I think that's why a lot of these relationships aren't lasting, because women are, and I think maybe some men to some degree, especially with women's body changes and such, I think men kind of get misconstrued, what happens with that, especially after babies and stuff, and that. But from a woman's perspective, just hearing what I hear, what I come from women, that I've heard women say, like, they be surprised how sensitive men are. Like, they be surprised how much men want to cuddle, and men cry and stuff. Like, girl, you didn't think you was with a human being? What did you think? That's so crazy to me. But I've heard this married women really not realize their husbands is humans, and expect them to be, solid as a rock and never have any feelings. And I think that's a misconception for a lot of women. But that's my calling is the young women that ain't in no relationships yet, because I done tried these women already in these relationships, and I can't. That ain't my calling. But that's okay. That's Coco for.
Girl, I'm talking to everybody who's willing to listen.
Yeah.
I'm talking to anybody willing to listen.
I know that's right. These older folks, my age, I'm not sure how old y'all is, but 38, and older, a little bit older year old women, be like talking to them, be like, they so stuck in their ways, and they be like, you ain't even that old. Like, you young enough to make the changes if you want to, but they don't want to. They like are comfortable in the chaos and the toxicity. And the poor man, he like, if I leave, I'm wrong. So, I just feed her back the same energy she feeded me. And a lot of that stuff would be like, it'd be like if she just changed her behavior, if she just changed her thought process and how she talked to the man and how she talked to the kids, the whole thing would change around. But yeah, that's what I be seeing.
Yeah, no, that's and that's a valid point that you just made, and I think that's a major part of the problem. A lot of folks, like I said, they just think they on point. Yep, and at no point have they considered that they may need to make some changes. Like, there's a lot of folks out here who, got their degrees, they making some money, what I'm saying, they done took out a mortgage, they driving some type of little, German car. Like, they feel like they that deal. But they never consider that there may still need to be some changes that they need to make. It's like, we all can achieve things. That's easy to do. But actually getting your mind right, adjusting your mindset, being nice to people, simple things. That's the other part. Yeah, we seem today to struggle with the simple things. Yeah, just being nice to somebody. Speaking to somebody in passing. You know what I'm saying? A guy engaging on a young lady, and she just reciprocating and having a conversation without getting stank with him. Like, it's simple things that we struggle with today. We can go get the complicated stuff. Yeah, we can figure out the loan to debt ratios. We can get credit scores and all this stuff, but we can't figure out how to be nice to somebody. Yeah, we can't figure out how to, say thank you when the dude hold the door for you when you're walking in the place. Like, we can't do the simple stuff. Yep, and the simple stuff is what's going to dissolve the relationships. The simple stuff is what's going to prevent the relationships from even getting off the ground. Yep, the simple stuff is what's going to destroy the marriage.
And then I also think, Quita, we haven't seen a lot of healthy relationships. We just seen relationships. Most of us have came from single parent relationships, so all we've seen is boyfriend and girlfriend.
Right.
And some of us who have come from marriages have been toxic marriages. So I'm 52, my wife is 40. So she has a lot of girlfriends that was like, ooh, I want to find me a da. But then when you really get down to it, it's them. They've been single too long. A lot of them be these small and teenage kids that they don't have no control over. And they want this certain type of man that's gonna come in, but he gonna come in with some authority, but they don't want nobody to say nothing to their kids, and It's a lot of tangibles that's going along with these relationships that people just don't want to talk about. People still hung up on their past situations and want a filler. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, but a lot of times people just don't want to be honest with themselves. Because I think it's single people out here. I think it's people that really would like to find somebody at a specific stage in their life, especially our age. After some of these kids is grown, you ain't got that much time left. You know, people worried about the wrong thing. What difference do it make how much money as long as he's self-sufficient? You only got 20 more years to live anyway. If you start taking your big ass to the gym. So what difference do it make if he got 100? You ain't gonna be able to use it. Just he makes 60, and y'all can go through. You walk on Belle Isle, you know, and have somebody to go, you know. But they don't want that. He got to take me here. So have you looked in the mirror? Then these dudes, well, I wanna. Have you looked at your bank statement? It's just
no, you right on.
Pieces is all just messed up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you spot on. You want to say, go ahead, Marjorie.
I just was thinking, I mean, so like you said, the simple things. I see so much of in these relationships, just simple appreciation. So many spouses refuse to show appreciation for the other, whatever the other person is doing. When I was trying to deal with couples, you wouldn't believe what it was like pulling teeth, getting this couple to tell each other thank you. Say thank you for doing the dishes. Thanks for putting the kids to bed. Thanks for some booty. Thanks for making dinner. Thanks for all, like, it's so simple to just show basic appreciation for, like you said, the little things, and you wouldn't believe how stubborn some people are with just that. It's like people are like 5-year-olds. If they ain't doing it for me, I ain't doing it for them. Y'all will never get anywhere with that. Like, we in elementary school, nobody wants to give without receiving. It's an exchange dynamic. You know, when true love, it's you're giving even if you're not receiving. People don't like that. People don't want to have to give into something unless they're getting something in return. And for me, that's why a lot of marriages fail, because people don't have that God kind of love, giving even if they're not getting anything in return. And you know, ain't no telling what might change. It's like, you don't even know, girl, if you just try to you don't know what might happen if you consistently show love, not just showing him love because you want to try to get some. He, you know what I mean, after you done cuss the man out, now you try to get some, he looking at you crazy. He like, no, he ain't playing that, because he like, you just being nice because you want some right now. You know, after you done turned me down two weeks in a row. And it's so much power dynamic, and that, I think that frustrates me. And you know, with men and women, instead of people just wanting to serve. People don't have a heart of service for each other. Glad to serve, glad to feed your husband, glad to work for your family, just being joyful in your role. Is missing.
Yeah, no, that's facts right there. That service is key. So I'm glad you brought that out. All right, I got a couple. I'm gonna throw up here. Like I said, a couple little curvies, man. I'm gonna get y'all opinion on something real quick. See what y'all say about it.
Juju hasn't left the building because Jaden Daniels is here.
Well, she started to leave. I was watching her, and then I think she saw Jaden.
So Juju's like, so you know all those amazing things you did with Washington? It was awesome.
All right. So that's a quick one right there. So I saw this. So let me throw it back.
Juju hasn't left the building.
So I got the image. All right, cool. So Jaden Daniels, I think the young lady's name is Juju. She's a basketball player. I think she just recently got hurt. But yeah, so I guess she connected with Jaden at the game. They was having a little conversation. I guess his mom came along, saw what was going on. She slid on in the middle. So I'm curious, what is y'all opinion on this? Is this a mom hating, or is this a mom essentially vetting who was around her son?
I'm glad you gave me context. Because when I saw it, I was like, dog, is that his woman? Because I'm glad you gave the context, because I'm like, why she just come sit in the middle like that?
Yeah, no, that's his.
I'm curious what everybody else thinks.
I'll go first.
Go ahead, Vince. I see beatboxing too. Go ahead, Vince.
I am so tired of these women and their son husbands.
Uh-oh.
They want these men to be stand on their own, but they on their mama's coat strings. Their mama is telling them who they can date, and their mama ain't even got a husband. How she betting somebody that she don't know nothing about? Get out your son's business. This man is grown. I don't care if he's 19, he's a grown man. And that's why they'll never be good for a wife. If you look at Jason Tatum, oh, he's such a good father. He got 2 baby mamas. I ain't hear him saying nothing about his wife. His mama controlled his management. He got to ask his mama to buy a car. That's not cute. I'm sorry. It's just not. Oh, and she teaching him how to be responsible. A 21-year-old millionaire got to ask his mama to buy a car? And y'all don't understand how y'all making these men. Y'all making these men y'all making these men and the women that these men and the men that y'all don't want. I see it all the time. You thinking, oh well, I'm protecting them. You're not. Let that boy. If he want to date Juju, even if it's dating, she should stay at her mama's place. You should be at home cooking or something. What you out there with him for? Where your husband? It was just terrible. And they go, yeah, he'll be a baby daddy in a year or two.
Okay.
Won't be a husband. Put it
Anybody
on
else? Hey, anybody else want to say? Just go ahead and say what you want to say. Anybody?
I have an 18-year-old son. He now he's 18, but when he was younger and he was dating these girls, I was more protective of him when he was younger. Girls, these little girls trying to get pregnant and stuff. I was talking to these girls. But now he's 18. I'm like, that's your business. That's your business. But when he was a minor, I was a little bit more protective of him. And if it wasn't for myself and his grandmother, he'd be a daddy and I'd be a 38-year-old grandma. So
okay.
we did cover him, but now he 18. So now I'm like, whatever you do, that's your business, bro. That's who you date is your business. But not at no 18, 19, 20 years old. Now he young, he a minor, he in high school. You protect him a little bit, because some of these little girls is vicious. Lord, but he got him a nice little girlfriend right now. She cool. I vetted her, and her folks. She come from a mother and father household, married family and stuff. Decent young lady. So I can now he had to have those bad dating experiences to see what it's like when he get a good one. So I do think it was my job at that age to protect him and help him vet, see what it looked like to vet these girls. But now he's grown. I'm staying out the way. Like babies and all that stuff, it's your business, bro. Even if he would have got somebody pregnant, it still was my mindset like that baby gonna be in your room. I ain't coming in here. It's your business. But yeah, but at that age, nah, he too old. That's his business.
Okay. I appreciate that right there. Beatbox, I saw you off, man. Go ahead, and then I'm coming to Joe.
Yeah, what Vince said. Sometimes it comes off as the mother views the son as her husband. It just didn't. It wasn't a good look to me. And personally, I kind of grew up with that with my mother. She would just get all I don't mind if as when you're a teenager or you're young, you're kind of a narcissist. You don't see things right, and you're like, oh, I'm trying to protect my child, and I get that. But sometimes it comes off as almost infantilizing your own kid. It's a little it's a little odd. And you really see this with you see this a lot where in sports stuff where a kid he signing day for college football, he's picking what college he wants to go to. You see the mothers wilding out when he picks the college they didn't want. You see stuff like that all the time, and it's like, what are we doing? Why you look like? And also, Juju's a nice person. I from all intents and purposes, what I've heard, and I do feel bad for her because she tore her ACL a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
and it was unfortunate. But this is a decent person, and you're sitting in between them because they're having a conversation. I mean, good Lord, if he was next to, like, I don't know, Sexy Red, hell yeah, he'd sit between both of them. I would be like, what you doing? But it just seemed as though she was viewing Jaden as like her husband. I think she's married, by the way. I think she's married too. I think Jaden
That's
is married.
good.
But it's still odd. I think some mothers need to kind of take a step back sometimes, especially since he's a grown man. And if he messes up, he messes up, right? But he's got to do his own thing. And I think it's crippling black boys when mothers do stuff like that. Because like Vince said, there's a Lamar Jackson, his mom, I think, controls his money too. It's a lot of these weird things. Eli Apple, a cornerback, if anybody knows who that is, his mother more or less ran him out of the New York Giants because she was acting a fool, trying to get all this money from him. He got traded to the Cincinnati Bengals. There's plenty of stories like that where mothers are really costing their sons a lot of money and power because of whatever is going on. So, yeah, I don't know, bro. I didn't like that.
Okay. No, I just wanted to see what y'all thought. Go ahead, Joe. It's on you, man. You want to respond to that one, man?
So I just learned about these two people based in the last 5 minutes. I didn't know who they were. So apparently Juju is, I really didn't. So apparently she's
No,
the girl's
you good. I don't know him like that either, man.
Well, I mean, it seems like I got the gist, right? They're both, I guess, college stars or up and coming. So it looks like it's not like so if that's the case, she's not some straggler off the street. She probably isn't really interested, like she's not trying to look for a come up. She's doing her own thing. She has potential, it looks like. Hopefully she heals well to become a star in her own right, and make her own money. So it doesn't seem like it's opportunistic on her end. Which usually it is the case. You know, see this young guy, he's a college, but also apparently he's doing his thing. So I can only see it as hating, like Chloe said, in the son husband type of relationship. That's my man. I'm the one that raised him, and maybe she feels like she's entitled to his success, and that in a way, knowing and seeing these two coming close together would be a threat to her in the sense that he's not going to be as focused on me, giving money to me, or basically doing the things for his mother like he would do for someone like Juju. So she sees that as a threat. She sees her as competition. That's it. But it may give off the appearance of protecting. But when you look at the context, it's not protection at all. It's just her jealous and envy for the young girl who can't compete with that. But she's doing her best to step in the way and control that situation. Whether or not the guy allows it to happen, that's on him. But she may have a stranglehold on his mind, and she may actually succeed. A lot of women do end up succeeding because he's so young and impressionable. That's still he's only 18. He was only 15 3-4 years ago. So it's not like he's had enough time to analyze the situation and think. He's probably thinking, yeah, she really is protecting me. He end up missing out on a good girl. So that's that point. And lastly, what else I was going to say? But that's it for now.
Well, I was just asking. The reason I said, because I saw a lot of folks, saying that, they don't like a mama's boy, the mama's hating. I was seeing a lot of that. But sometimes I wonder, though, I'm just kind of going back to the first video about essentially the Eastern Indian culture. Sometimes I wonder if parents had a more active role in the relationships that their kids were engaging in, would that prevent a lot of our kids from having to go through all of the traumas before they finally find a good relationship? Because see, right now, we just kind of nilly-willy it. Yep, so the kids, it's like, hey, I met this person, and, you're like, oh, okay. That's really how it kind of goes these days. Yeah, they got a little boyfriend, and they just hanging out and whatever. You may just keep your eye on the situation, but you just kind of let them do what they do and figure it out as they figure it out. But if we took a more active role, like I said, even kind of leveraging on the arranged marriage concept, if as parents, if we took a more active role in our kids' relationships as they were growing up, would that prevent a lot of the traumas? Because even Marjorie, when she was on, she mentioned that, some of the traumas that her or situations that her son had to go through, right? She mentioned that. It's like, could that be prevented in some of our kids' lives if the parents were more active in the relationships that the kids were engaging in?
I'll say if the parents were more active in parenting from the beginning, these kids wouldn't get in a lot of relationships that they don't need to be in no way. Now, I come from a single mom. My mom worked a lot. I had a lot of free time. So of course, when you got the idle mind of the devil's playhouse, I was having girls over at the house 13, 14, 15 years old. Because my mama wasn't home. I was good in school, so she really didn't have a problem with me. But I understand now these kids need to be busy. Where a relationship is the furthest thing from their mind. It's just friendship. See, a lot of our generation, it's always boyfriend and girlfriend, but a lot of other, it's just they just have a friend group.
Right.
But they busy. They in dance. They in football. They in basketball. They over here. They over there. Ain't got no time for relationships. And then we think that's cute when they 15 and 16. When they start having sexy. And then it's too late. Then now we have to kind of put the genie back in the bottle. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of it got to do with parenting early and keeping these kids busy. So.
I mean, I
Can I
would say
interject one more thing too, real quick? I'll be very quick. I swear.
I can't hear. Who is that? Bebop. Go ahead, Bebop.
Yeah.
I can't hear.
So the one thing also that makes it even worse for me is that Jane Daniels is like 24. He's about to be 25 this year, and Juju's like 23, I think. So they're not young. They're not young in the sense like they're like these are like kind of grown people. Jane Daniels was about to go to the Super Bowl this year. Played my Eagles. They lost. But so he's a grown man. He's in the public. I would kind of get it if they were 18 and 16 or something. I would kind of get it, but he's a grown man, bro. Like, this is crazy.
Well, hold on. So let me ask this question, then I'm gonna come right back to you. I know Cole want to get in something as well. Why do we? That's another thing that I noticed right there. Just based on what you just said, B. Boston. Let's see, you're not the only person that has said that. Why do we mentally cut our kids off at 18? Why do we take the position that when our kids are 18, they grown? Knowing that a kid that's 18 is so far from grown. Like, why do we say that? Like, why is it like, hey, when you 18, you know what I'm saying, you can get out of my house. When you 18, you know what I'm saying, it's on you, you grown, you got to go. It's like, why do we take that position as Black folks? Why do we take that position that 18 is the cutoff, knowing that at 18, we didn't know a whole bunch of stuff. Credit might not have been established. Education was still fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like you still all over the place at 18, and we're going to keep it a buck out here. Now, I know some folks had to kind of acclimate to some certain scenarios, possibly prior to 18, because that was their upbringing and things was going on in the home and all of that. But if we're going to be honest, most folks is not grown in the mind at 18. Yeah, you only 2 years out of getting a license to drive a car. Like you ain't grown in the mind at 18. You ain't making the best decisions at 18. You don't know how to navigate life at 18. Like, we got to be honest about that. So why do we take that position? Because like, let me tie it back to this. Is that us being selfish again? Yeah, I just need you to get up out my house. This is my house. I'm ready to be naked with your mama running around. Like, I need you to get up out my house. Is that us doing that again? So somebody tell me something. Go ahead. Then I'm gonna let Cole. Vince, go every spot. I'm gonna let Cole go.
Well, most of the time there is no father in the house, so mama got to get her life back.
Okay, she got to get her groove back. That what you're saying?
She done sacrifice to raise you, and then some of it is a scare tactic because these parents know they haven't properly raised these kids to be able to go into life. Not necessarily take care of yourself, because you can't take care of yourself at 18, but going into life with a plan and a vision for your life. So some of it is a scare tactic. But a lot of it is mama single, and mama know that her boyfriend can't come over there while you there at 18, so you gotta go. And the sad thing about it is it's mainly with the girls. It's not the boys. They'll let their sons stay there forever, but it's the girls that they want out because they can't have two queens in a castle. So that goes back to our culture, like everything go back to.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Go ahead, Cole. I know you want to get off chest. Go ahead.
I would say I definitely agree. The only thing I can think of from my experience is maybe it was an aspect that was done to them, but I still have seen a situation where that mother is still dependent on their mother, so it doesn't really make sense.
Okay. Okay. I ain't mad at that. You're not lying. You ain't lying. So yeah, we just got a whole bunch of stuff wrapped up in here. Yeah, the more we talking about this, it's just all type of nonsense wrapped up in here. No wonder we dealing with some of the stuff we dealing with. Okay. All right, let me I'm probably gonna get us up out of here. I'm gonna get us up out of here, man, because I got a couple there, but I ain't about to go through all these. Y'all know. You want one more, Vince? All right, I'm trying to figure out which one should it be though, man, because that's the thing. Let me see.
Nice and triggering.
Well, here we go with this generation of 43-year-old something, these 40-year-old sisters. Remember I told you that when me and my friends got around 43, that my career sisters, my friends that had been flight attendants, single doctors and attorneys, hospital administrators, counselors, all of a sudden, I mean, they had been wanting to be married since we were like 19. And all of a sudden we got in our 40s and they were just ripping and getting married left and right. Like I hadn't been in a wedding, period, in my 20s, none in my 30s. When I got in my 40s, I was constantly going to Hawaii, going to Cuba, going to Paris, started going to these weddings and my friends would be marrying these guys. And these guys would just show up and it was just like, and I was thinking, oh, I guess this is what's supposed to happen. You get 40 and then all of the men just get their act together and they come and marry you. Now, most of these men were about 10 years older than my friends. I'm telling you, they were showing up with rings and flowers and they'd be going out with my friends and wearing matching outfits. And one of them wanted to go to her family reunion around Christmas dressed as Mr. and Miss Claus and the Statue of Liberty and Uncle Sam and boating and all. And I mean, they were ripping and running like, and I was like, where were these men at? So I had come up with a theory that I put out on social media that men were getting it together in their 40s, that they had ditched their lives and gotten with all these horrible women or they were horrible men and then they learned their lessons and then we were reaping the benefits of these men that had learned their child. Before we turned 50, them men was dropping dead left and right. Seriously. Heart attack, stroke, prostate cancer, colon cancer, ED, VD. I mean, all types of like these ailments that they were having. One was dating a guy and his teeth just started falling out of his head. One was dating a guy and he just had this curly Prince hair and all of a sudden he just was slick bald headed. One of them was like this brilliant, intelligent dude who had been married 3 times and had all these mixed match kids. And as soon as my friend married him, his head blew up with a brain tumor. My friends have been spending money. They were spending money left and right, re-outfitting their houses. Men getting their toes and legs cut off because of diabetes, right? Men that was losing their mind, stopped taking their medication and they had to put them in these asylums and all this stuff. They were getting wheelchair ramps put in their houses, doing GoFundMe so that the men could pay for experimental medicine to keep their men alive. And these are men that hadn't been with them not even 2 years, they didn't have any children with these men. My friends are mostly single without children. And
I can't even do it, man.
I don't even know why you.
I
So
can't even
she's
do
trying
it.
to say that they married the men, and then in 2 years they all had lost their hair. They all started dying. They all started getting diabetes and prostate cancer. I'm like, oh, in the course of 2 years, I'm like, what?
See how the women
I
start
mean,
killing them?
the story just was like, go ahead, Jared. What'd you say?
No, I said, you see how the women start killing them?
Low key, that's where I was gonna go next. I didn't want to be the one to do it. Like, so you mean to tell me that these men was doing all these things, showing up, want to do matching outfits and very active and going all these places and doing all these things. Then they get married and they kick the bucket and develop all these health issues. Like, I mean, what's the common denominator? I didn't want to say that though, but I mean, first of all, I would ask how many friends does she have, because she was going on and on and on about all these problems that these men were having. And I'm like, how many friends do you have since they got married? First and foremost. Second of all, you started saying they was in their 40s and the men were 10 years older than them. And before your friends could turn 50, this stuff started happening. But I'm like, the math ain't mathing, because if they were 43 and the men start dropping down like flies when they turn right before they turn 50, that's not 2 years. So if you're being non-factual with that, then can I trust anything else that you're talking about and anything else that you're saying? If we're going to have the conversation, let's have the conversation honestly, and let's be genuine about it. We all know that once people get to a certain age, men and women, that your body does start to kind of, well, all those things you did start catching up to you. Let's just say it that way. Men and women, all that stuff you did in your 20s and your 30s when you didn't care and you was out there wilding out, that stuff will start catching up to you, especially if you have not done anything to change your health or maintain your health or change your habits, right? It'll start catching up to you. That's anybody, right? I would ask her, why your friends wait till they were in their 40s, decide to get married? That's I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like old girl said, no tea, no shade, but why did they wait? If they were these successful, accomplished women, why couldn't they find a man before 43? Like, why did they wait? And then they knew better. They knew that at 43, let's just be honest, it's time to make some real decisions. I'm not going to get the 35-year-old guy. He's not going to really be checking for me like that. So I'm probably going to end up with someone older than me. That's just the truth. Because he's going to be settled. He's going to be ready to settle down. He's going to probably be at financially at a place where I would want him to be. Let's just be so for real. And this is what you get. There's pros and cons to everything. This is why I say all the time, because I talk to all women. Start earlier. You can absolutely have a career. You can absolutely get an education if you want to and still find your husband. It's not either or. You don't have to put off that part of your life, which should be the most important part. You don't have to put it off just so you can have a career or just so you can go to school. I mean, a lot of people are meeting their significant other at school. A lot of people are meeting their significant other while they're working. Like, so you don't have to pick one or the other. I don't understand it. Start sooner. But if you're not, don't be complaining about getting married in your 40s and then the men are, I mean, they're not in the greatest health. I mean, what did you expect?
Man, but the narrative was just crazy though. It's like we're not about to push that narrative. Just because you marry a man who was older than you, that don't automatically mean he got to be in bad health. Like, I mean, some of this stuff. That's why I said I couldn't even finish the video. She was going on for about 7-8 minutes. I couldn't even finish the video. It's like some of this stuff. We gotta stop.
Stop the cap.
It's like we gotta stop capping. Yeah, we really gotta stop capping. It's like there's all type of issues I can hear in that video outside of what she was talking about. Yeah, to Coco's point, it's like, why are you waiting so late anyway? Well, what was the problem before? Yeah, let's address that first. The second thing is
where's your husband?
Right. I was about to, that's another question, right? That's another question. You talking about your girls, where your man at? So that's another question. But I'm like, for me, just listening to the young lady, well, she's not a young lady, just listening to the woman in the video, you got to hold yourself accountable. Yep, and stop assuming that you are on point just because you sit up here and make this video. Yeah, there's a lot of folks in this mindset that they just on point. Yep, and sometimes, like I said, you might not get married until later in life because you wasn't on point before. Like, let's just be honest. Like, you got to take accountability. Sometimes you just not on point. Sometimes you just not that girl. You just not that guy. Like, let's just own that. Yep, but we're in this mindset now that we just think we just so on point, and we don't be on point. Yeah, we got a lot of ladies out here right now. They just think because they're a female, some dude gonna come find them and want to marry them. No, that ain't enough. That ain't enough. You might have a body and all that. That ain't enough. That don't work no more. That worked back in high school. That worked back in middle school. Dudes looking for other things. That ain't enough. Yeah, is it a bonus? Yeah, is it something good to look at? Yeah, it is, but that's not enough. Yeah, but the same thing goes for the guys. Just because you got some money, that's not enough. Yeah, your mindset's still jacked up. You still over here, bouncing from place to place, living in your mama house, whatever. It's not enough. Yeah, you're not on point like you think. And some folks just got to own that. Yep, and just because you get older, that don't mean you on point either. Like, yeah, we got to get out of this mindset. It's almost like I don't know if it's entitlement. I don't know if it's we just making assumptions or we just think that's how stuff is supposed to go. Like, yeah, it's like delusion. And it's like it's not, it's not age. It affects all ages. It's like a level of delusion, and it's crazy to me. Like I said, the young lady in the video is like, says you need to think about a couple things while you sitting up here talking what you're talking. Go ahead, B-Boss.
I think I just saw JR want to get on, but I'll be very quick.
Okay, he can get it. Yeah, go ahead.
What I heard also to jump off of what you said, Mr. Price, when she was talking about her girlfriends and all the stuff their jobs and stuff like that matters. Like, ladies, like, just because you're a certain class or making money, we don't care about none of that. Like, I don't care. Like, my wife could be, if she was working at McDonald's and she was nice and agreeable, I would marry my wife. I don't care about none of that. I really think, and one thing I don't know if anybody else dealt with this as a man, and like if you went to college, I went to college, and one of the things I kept hearing from women, especially melanated women, is like, "Oh, well, I'm concentrating on my studies. I'm concentrating on my studies. I'm concentrating on my studies." I would hear that all the time. I would have sex with some of them, but I was like, "You can't walk, you like chew gum and walk at the same time, right?
Right.
We can't do both, right? Why can't we do both?" Some of it, I think, is that I think they think some women want a certain lifestyle like that. So they want a man to be a provider and all this stuff immediately right off the rip out of college. And that's a delusional in and of itself. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. But that point stating all their accolades, we don't care about none of that. Like, I mean, that in and of itself is a big problem. Like, women, please listen to me. That means nothing. Nothing. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Or most men, we just don't care. Go ahead.
Let me get this comment real quick, and I'm coming to you, JR. I think that's clicks and views. She said, of course you don't care. You only care about how someone is serving you. You know what, clicks and views? I'm going to disagree. Yeah, I don't think men only care about how somebody is serving them. Let me just keep it a buck. If that's really all that men cared about, a lot of ladies wouldn't even make the cut. Yeah, so let me just put that to bed. I don't think that's all that men care about, if that's what you're saying. So let me know if I didn't understand your comment. All right, let me come to JR. JR, go ahead, man. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, on that topic there, I think it's just just a great way to highlight sacrifice. The men sacrificed their third leg, until it didn't work anymore, you know, because obviously the lady did need some of that throughout their lifetime.
Oh,
Some of
come
them lost
on.
their hair from trying to, you know, look beautiful. And eventually some of
Man, did you
them
say a
found
third
God.
leg? My bad. Did you say a third leg? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the third leg. Until it stopped working. And then yeah, some of them lost their hair, and then some of them found God, you know, through sacrifice, dealing with women, you know. So yeah, we understand that. We're gonna go outside, you know.
Man, you know what, man? This third leg, man. We about to get up out of here, man.
Now, obviously, I had to get a bit boxer to agree with me eventually, you know, during the show, and agree, you know, not shaking his head. But obviously, when he laughs a lot, at least I know that we agree on something, you know.
Man, let me take some clothes and we gonna get up out of here, man. It's been a good night. It's been a good night. Coco, you want to say anything before we get out of here tonight?
Just that, I guess, how many times are we going to have the conversation about Black people in America being in this lesser position before we decide that we're the ones who are going to have to do something about that, right? Like, it's not always about, it's not always about what someone has done to us. It's not always about the systemic challenges that we may face, because they are real. But when are you as a person going to learn how to prioritize things that really matter? When are you as a person going to learn how to be content with yourself and with your life, right? Like, when are you as and then if there's something in your life that you can change it. But let it be something worthwhile, right? When are we going to just simply stop making excuses? We can't say, man, like, we're all the men that want to marry us. As women, we can't keep saying that, but then we turn around and divorce at a high rate, and women are the ones who are doing the majority of the filing for divorce. So, like, you can't ask the question, why aren't men wanting to get married? Why are men hesitating to marry? Why men aren't approaching? Why men aren't? But you walk around with an attitude. You don't know how to just engage in conversation. And be present, right? You don't care enough to understand how a man might feel entering into a marriage arrangement in society where women are incentivized to divorce. Like, you're not even taking the time to think about what it even means for a man to enter into a marriage agreement with a woman, and what he has to give up and what his side is going to look like. You're not doing any of those things, but you're asking the questions, why? And there's never any self-reflection. There's never any self-analyzation. And I'm just wondering, at what point are we going to say, is it me? Are there some changes I need to make? And whenever we have these conversations about what's going on with Black people, this is like, we might as well at this point call this a 3-part series, because this is like the 3rd week in a row where we've talked about another issue with Black people. And the common denominator is us, we. It's not something that's being done to us. We have to decide that we want to change these things, because it is in our power to do so. If you want your children to be set up for a better future, then set them up for a better future. If you want to be successfully married, then prepare yourself to be a wife. Prepare yourself to be a husband. Understand what that means, and then ride the wave. Don't run from it every time it gets a little bit uncomfortable, right? Like, I think we just have to start prioritizing the right things. Stop allowing people to lie to us. Stop allowing society to influence your decisions to the point where you're almost kind of like, your executive functioning is just all thrown off. You don't even know how to make a decision for yourself, right? Like, I think that it starts with us. We need to start doing the work internally first, and just stop making excuses and justifications.
That's real right there. That makes sense. Sounds good to me. Appreciate that closeout. Beatbox, it's on you, man. You want to say anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, I had a kind of idea what I wanted to say until I read a few of the comments on what I said. So I want to be very clear because I think it does kind of coincide with what we talked about today. Because with clicks and views saying that I want a servant, I guess, and that I don't really care about what I think the next one is like I don't care about how somebody shows up. I think those comments kind of highlight kind of the disconnect with men and women, quite frankly, and the things what we talk about here about Black people and legacy. I'm not saying, and men are not saying, we don't care about women being smart. We don't want servants. You don't hear men saying like we want women to just do everything for us and then they get nothing. That's not what's going on here. What men are talking about are things that we want. I want character. When I'm married to somebody, I want character, commitment, and somebody I can trust, and somebody who will respect me, right? Sometimes there's a correlation between education and money and less respect for a man. There's some of that happens. Not all the time, but sometimes. And I think when women hear men say, "Well, I don't care about your education," I think women say, "Oh, then you just don't. Then you want somebody stupid. You want some." I don't. That's not because my wife. She's educated. She has a master's degree. So that's not my point. My point is that there are things that matter most in a relationship, and whatever you're tangible you're bringing to the table does not cover vices. It doesn't cover if you have a bad attitude. It doesn't cover if you're selfish. It doesn't cover if you're bad with money. It doesn't cover if if you probably potentially be a bad mother or father. Those are the things that matter, and those are the things that will carry generations after us. So, man, it's just unfortunate because this is something we see a lot. I see this more, especially now with my generation, where a lot of when we say this, I don't care about your education or things like that, they get real offended. And I do not want anybody to serve me or be at my beck and call because if I wanted that.
Oh, get off our live trolling. Bye.
I would, because I think I'll say this and I'll be done, but most women would qualify, and quite frankly, I'm not walling, but I could, if I just wanted that, I would just pay for it, right? I wouldn't even get married. I would just say, lady, pay a maid, come to my house, clean my house. Hey, do this or that. And then, like I've said before, in many occasions, sex is free. If that's what my idea was, that's what if most men were like thinking like that, that's how we would roll, and the world would end. So that's not what I'm talking about. We want cooperation, and we need. That's all I gotta say. I'm kind of flabbergasted.
You done? Don't answer that question no more. She trolling. Next.
Okay, let me come on down. Let me come on down to JR. JR, man, you want to say anything before we get out of here, man?
Yeah, obviously just going off what Beatboxer said, and one of the questions that Miss Cole asked earlier in terms of how both parties, benefit in a relationship or in a marriage, wherever it is. It's more a case of, like I said, if there's that cooperation between both parties, then you're both going to get the outcomes that you want, and you're both going to benefit in that situation. And of course, the bigger beneficiaries of that it would be the kids, in terms of the legacy that you and a woman would build, and then obviously pass it on to the kids, and obviously go from there. So, like I keep saying, I don't think it's necessarily a woman issue as a whole, because there's a game that's being played here, and they're making both men and women clash, And of course, you know, the higher ups, they benefit from that in a sense of, like I said, they're making it easier for women to leave the relationships. And we've got to ask the questions as well. Why is that? Because if there's a breakup, the man moves out, there's two separate homes now, more money in terms of tax and income and whatnot, rent, all that stuff, and then child support. You got to pay the woman, you know, some money, all that. So all the middleman, you know, we know what game they're playing. So it's more case of, because the women are in between the men and the system, it's easy for the men to target the women, and that's why there's that disconnect, because women are seen to be the villains. And as I always say, it's not that they are that, it's just the system just made it to seem that way.
Okay. No, I appreciate that closeout, JR. Appreciate that there, brother. Cole, you want to say anything if we get out here? There you go.
Regarding the question, or the statement, Black people don't care about legacy, I would say not as much as we should. And I think it really starts with the foundation and having some intentional traditional values.
I would agree. Nice and simple. Appreciate that closeout. But let me say this and then we go. At the end of the day, let's say we're in this position where we are looking to point the finger, we're looking to blame each other. We're not doing the simple things with each other, being nice, you know, having nice conversations, being polite, being respectful, being appreciative. Let's say those simple things, man. Let's put some more priority back around those things. I said those are the things that are stopping us even engaging. They're stopping our connections. They are destroying our marriages. They're damaging our kids. Yeah, like let's get back to prioritizing the simple things. You're gonna say we will definitely focus for the complicated things, the degrees, the multiple levels of education, the acquisition of things and material things and all of that. Like we'll go through all of that, but it's like we just don't prioritize and put focus around those simple things, and that's what goes a long way. The simple things that build strong relationships. That's what goes a long way. So man, let's unlearn and relearn. Yeah, reapproach this situation and try to get ourselves back in sync. Because I said that's our main issue. We out of sync. Yeah, but until we turn that corner or basically restore that sync between us, it ain't gonna get no better. It's only gonna continue to get worse. Man, shout out to my panel, man. Go ahead, Coco.
So I don't typically do this, but this is a platform that we're building, and it's very important. And this platform has a purpose. We don't get up here and have these conversations because we think it's cute. We don't get up here and have these conversations because we're trying to make a ton of money, because that ain't it. We get up here and we have these conversations because we like to move our community forward. This is not discourse, and I don't want to attack you, but you certainly do enough of that in the comments. I'm more than open to have a conversation. As a matter of fact, we post a link every Wednesday for people to join this panel and have that conversation. You don't have to agree with everything we say. As a matter of fact, it's a better conversation, more engaging conversation, and we actually get to the root of problems if you don't just simply agree with everything that we say. But what you shouldn't be doing is attacking another person's opinion. That's different. And not only have you done this in the comments, you've only been here for I don't know how long, but you not only have you done this in the comments, but here live, you've done it in the comment section. So there's a reputation of that. If you want to have a conversation, have a full conversation and then listen to the response. Listen to understand what somebody is saying, not just listen to respond. There's a difference. That's not conversation. So if someone answers your question, if we don't have to post your comments, none of your comments. We don't have to post them on the screen and respond to any of the panel does not have to respond to your comments. But we do that because we actually want to engage with you. You're a part of the show. When you come into the comment section, you're a part of the show. We want you to be a part of the show. But don't attack anybody on the panel. That's not going to be tolerated. Differences of opinion is always allowed. But if someone answers your question and explains something to you, if you have a real honest response, that's great. But if you just want to be combative, like women tend to be, we're not entertaining that. That's it. Point blank in a period. This is our platform. If you don't like it, bye.
And straight like that. All right, we're gonna close on that note. Shout out to Coco, hold me down on the panel, Beatboxer, JR, Cole, my guy Vince was on earlier. Shout out to my guy Joe was on, and Marjorie was on early as well. Appreciate y'all holding me down.
Y'all don't run nothing here. Y'all don't run nothing here. Please, we love everybody here, men and women. This is not a platform where we bash men. This is not a platform where we bash women. But women, do not come in our comment section. You don't run nothing over here. You're not running nobody on this panel. You're not controlling nothing over here. So if you come to be a part of the conversation, be a part of the conversation. But leave that attitude stuff somewhere else. Take that somewhere else. Don't be in our comments with that attitude stuff. We don't do that here. That's not what this platform is for. We're trying to bring people together to have conversations, unity. We're not over here doing that. So if you red pill, y'all can stay away. If you're a woman who is a misandrist, you can stay away. If you're a misogynist, you can stay away. We don't do that here. We're about Black love, Black relationships, and uplifting Black people. That's what we want to do. So if you come here to attack, this is probably not the right platform for you. So yeah.
Okay, straight
Well,
like that.
sis, you will know them by their fruit. I called you a troll, sis, and this is the last comment I'm gonna make because I'm about to block you. I called you a troll because that's what you be doing in the comments. You will know them by their fruit. Amen.
Amen. And shout out to everybody in the comments as well. Shout out to my Facebook folks, my YouTube folks in the building tonight, man. Like I said, this is Kandid Konvos. We do this show every Wednesday night. We go live on YouTube and Facebook, so definitely like, share, and subscribe. But man, with that being said, everybody have an awesome night, and we're going to catch you guys next Wednesday.